Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 32 of the Blrd podcast.
Yes, it is episode 32.
Okay.
Good
As
job.
always,
Glad you're here.
Got it.
Yeah.
As always, we have Darkside,
Hey, what's up?
Creamcast,
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Green Tuner,
Hello, baby.
and myself, the Ed Underground. Bay. How you guys doing?
Yeah, only one person can actually do the baby. And since
It's me.
no, since Green Tuner says it first, so therefore he is the true fan.
I own it now. It's mine.
It's me. It's EDP. But how you guys doing?
Erectile dysfunction pants.
All right. Yeah.
That's from a wrestler, DDP.
Yeah, I was gonna say erectile dysfunction, like problems, but whatever.
Problems. There we go.
Yeah.
That's much better. That's much more thought out.
Yeah, but you know, I'm glad that you're here today, man. I'm glad that you're active in the chat talking about episode 32. Like, we haven't done this for 30 some episodes. Like, we haven't done this for 8+ months at this point. So hey, glad that you're here, man. Glad that you finally decided to show up.
Being late as hell for the recording.
Yeah. Yeah, we were gonna be here a lot.
What was our
earlier.
last episode? I don't even know what's going on.
31.
Friday.
What did we talk about?
No, Hawkeye.
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 Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, we spent.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that we spent a whole episode talking about Hawkeye.
So much so that your background is still Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Let me change my background.
Yeah.
I totally spaced out on that.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. I'm glad that Green Tuner is also present today. Wow.
Hey,
Yeah. Everybody's here at the podcast. Man. Great quality content, guys.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Yeah. But no, my week was pretty chill, man. Yeah, I'm supposed to get a snowstorm today, which sucks, or tomorrow. So that sucks. But other than that, yeah, my life's been pretty cool, pretty chill. How about you guys?
pretty good. Enjoying some time off.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Better.
Why is your week been getting better?
Oh, just less painful migraines. But
Hey, man.
hey,
Okay.
Hey, we've told you, go to your local, CVS, go to Walgreens, and get a 2-for-1 for my dog, man. It's really good for migraines. It's specifically formulated for migraines. I'm just letting you know that. So yeah,
For when you have a heavy flow day.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can just take those.
like Flintstone chewables. just keep popping. Just keep
Eat them
popping.
like Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
Guys, we got to pick it up here.
Well,
Yeah, the Midol delivery was a little slower, a little sluggish here. We're getting back into it. I apologize.
Okay, sure.
I apologize.
Well, I actually was thinking that Ed was going to do the transition, talking about.
I know.
I
I
was
did
going
too.
to.
Then
I was
why
going
didn't you-
to.
then
Why didn't
do
you?
it?
That's
guys
what I thought too. Here you're setting him up for
interrupted.
why it's a good week for you.
Yeah.
You guys interrupted.
No, you're the one that came up.
You can
literally-
talk.
Yeah, you literally just said, "Oh, I'm having less pain and I'm having less migraines." Like,
Well, I was being like, hey, this is how my week is
If,
going.
if anyone's watching the video, when the setup was made for the segment, Creamcast and my face, we were just like, it's a good transition. And then he starts talking about his migraines.
we literally alley-ooped and Ed just look at the ball go up and then go straight down. So Ed, please tell us
But
why.
you know
you're so happy.
what's also another great thing that happened this week?
Ed, the moment.
Oh
gone.
God,
The
it's
moment.
gone. Just
Yeah, just say it. At this
go
point.
into it.
Let's get into the news.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of the Blrd podcast, from far to wide.
Blurred News Network.
The Blrd is-
One America
My-
Blurred Network.
This just in 2 days ago.
Breaking news that you've already heard.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Microsoft has purchased Activision, Blizzard, and a few other companies under that umbrella of gaming companies, and is now owned
wow,
by
you
Microsoft.
have-
Hold on. What are you from the future?
Like,
Good Lord.
I am.
Well, first of all, Microsoft intends to acquire. No one, it's not finalized.
Not finalized.
It has to go through a lot of steps here, but Microsoft intends to acquire Blizzard and Activision for what is it, $68 billion
69
acquisition.
60.
I thought it was 68.
Nice.
68.9.
What number was it again?
68.9?
Oh, I thought it was 69.
6.9. I would just round it up to 6.9 if I was Phil Spencer.
Yeah, I'm trying to just do all the alley oops, guys. Like, come on, man.
Hell yeah.
69 billion dollars. Yeah,
69.
the deal's not going through. The deal's not going through until they said probably till 2023. So we got a long wait. But right now, the fans, the Xbox fans, the fanboys like the Ed Underground have been doing nothing but celebrating non-stop. Ed, please, I mean, put a little energy. Put the same amount of energy that you put into our group chat. Put that same amount of energy right now into the Blrd podcast. One, because I want to dismantle you piece by piece.
But I know. I'm getting ready
to.
But then two, I want people to see how much of an Xbox fanboy you are. Please go ahead.
Well, I don't consider myself an Xbox fanboy.
Right,
I'm just a fan of video games and happens to be on Xbox. So therefore, I play more Xbox than I play, I would say, PlayStation and even Nintendo.
Yep.
And I'm a big Nintendo fan, as you see on my wall for those.
Fake fan.
Fake fan.
I mean, I got a lot of stuff behind me too, Nintendo, I can point to.
Oh, just like the
Fake
PS5 that you had not even opened yet.
No, it's waiting.
For what? Oh, wait. What is there else to play on PS5 now?
My one and top two most anticipated games of the year.
And it won't be coming out to
from if anyone is interested, coming out in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yep.
Is it 2 weeks?
Horizon Zero Dawn in 2 weeks, and then God of War will be at the end of the year. So
Elden Ring is in 2 weeks.
Elden Ring in 2 weeks. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming out
on PC and Xbox, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Believe so.
I don't know about PC. I know definitely Xbox and PlayStation for sure.
Not on PC.
I
thought it would be.
I don't think it's day one. going to be.
Oh,
on PC.
wow. Okay.
Usually with Dark Souls, they usually don't come out day one on PC. It usually comes out a little bit afterwards. So, yeah, I mean, but we know that it's definitely coming out on PC eventually. Well, we won't say for sure, but it's a very high likely. I mean, we see, especially when there's games that are multi-port games like Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, they're going to be on multiple systems, but we're still waiting on Bloodborne. It's still a PlayStation exclusive. People are looking forward to that being played.
It's funny bit of information. There's a lot of little from this acquisition, which we'll talk about in more detail, but there's a lot of little tidbits that are coming out that as it's dawning on people how many pieces are involved in this. Like Sekiro was published by Activision, but it's not going to be an Xbox exclusive because there was a lot of talk about that because it was just published through them. It's still owned by From Software.
Right.
So there's a lot of instances like this where I'm sure we're going to have a lot of these moments come up in the next year where there'll be a lot of questioning of where certain games or franchises or IPs or studios or publishers, where it all falls in, because Activision and Blizzard's such a big piece of the gaming industry.
Right.
Without a doubt. So a lot of people are saying that it's the biggest news, video game news ever. Would you all agree? Would you all agree with this?
Financially, yeah, I would say.
Gaming wise, yeah.
I wouldn't say financially, but even
I wouldn't even say that.
I mean, it's big money, but I don't think that's the ticket shock value of that. I think honestly, it's just gaming, the biggest gaming news period in history, because of the fact that the implications of what Microsoft is doing. As we've discussed before, and as common news right at this point, Sony can't compete with Microsoft. Microsoft is such a big company as far as
conglomerate.
It's a conglomerate. Yeah, it has. I mean, they have so much in cash reserves that they can literally just buy studios left and right. And the problem is, when you look at Sony, is when it comes to the PlayStation, when it comes to video games in general, PlayStation, Sony is unmatched. It is the top system by far out of, especially when it comes to newer consoles, top system by far. But Sony's business or corporation does not have the capital to compete with Microsoft. And I think that's the one thing that that's a big takeaway from this, is that while Sony overall has we keep saying on this podcast that, Sony is not even a comparison. Sony has the best games of any system out currently, Nintendo, Xbox, and so forth. But once you get out of the video game realm, Sony cannot be touched. I mean, Microsoft cannot be touched. Microsoft, is a kingpin out here in the technological world. And, people have made fun of in the past about Microsoft trying to go into different ventures, like with the Zune and with the Windows Phone and so forth. Those are overall, I would say, relatively failures in today's standards. But in the business world, with Microsoft Office, OS, cloud services, Microsoft is a titan. And Microsoft, right now, they have the ability to flex their muscles. And, we talked about in the past that Microsoft has not been able to have publishers make great games for them, especially first-party exclusives. So what does Microsoft do? Microsoft says, hey, we can't compare to...
Can't beat them.
We can't beat them, so we'll just buy them.
Just buy them, yeah.
And, man, that's you
got to respect that. It is, if you can't do it, then you just buy it. It's a big move. I don't blame them for doing it, but that's the honest truth. Ed Underground has been spamming a lot of gifts, and he's very happy, and a lot of Xbox fans are happy, but it just goes to the moment is way bigger than the back and forth kind of console war that we've been in, where, Sony and Xbox have been in a console war. So when Bethesda was purchased last year, that was a move made by Microsoft in order to benefit Xbox, in order to pad out the Game Pass library. It was a good move, and it made sense in the console space. This move is not a move designed to help Xbox. This is a move designed to help Microsoft. This does not put Microsoft in a better position to compete against Sony. They're way gone now. This is Microsoft competing against Apple and Amazon and all the other major media conglomerates. This is Microsoft positioning itself not for this war. They've lost this war. They're creating the battlefield for the next war. So, and I've said this before, and I will state, I'm sure now more than ever before, and I said this, Microsoft, more than any Sony fan, Microsoft hates Xbox. I have said this from day one. They are not a hardware company. The hardware holds them down. The hardware slows them down. And you look at every one of their acquisitions and what they've been focusing on, xCloud, Game Pass, it's applications, it's offsite applications. It's nothing physical. You look at the PlayStation 5 behind me, and I could go get a Nintendo Switch. Look at the design of that console. Look at the design of the Nintendo Switch. These are consoles made from console manufacturers. Now go pull up an image of the Xbox Series X. Look how unimaginative and empty it is. You could look at your PC. That's an Xbox Series X. You know what I mean? It is empty. It is an afterthought, because what Microsoft values is not video game consoles. They're valuing multimedia. And you know what? More props to them. They're thinking 4 steps ahead down the battlefield. Well, Sony is competing with Nintendo, and Nintendo thinks they're a toy company, and they are. Sony is just a glorified electronics manufacturer, right? I mean, we come down to it. That's what they are.
Exactly.
And that's what they do. Microsoft is on another level, and this is them flexing that other level. I think what's going to happen in the future is a Sony device, if it exists, will have a Game Pass app on it. And that's where the money is. Mm-hmm. They don't need to spend the money to get the hardware in your house. Sony and Nintendo are doing it for you. Amazon is doing it for you. Apple's doing it for you. All your phones are doing it for you. Game Pass is how they will reap money from a huge base. That's the end game here. They're not in the hardware business. I mean, they might continue to make controllers and stuff like that, but the hardware game, it's basically a PC. Xbox Series X is a souped up PC, and they'll come down to a point where you'll just get a black cube, and that'll be the Xbox, and that's what you'll get. I mean, it's as empty as that.
I have disagree with you. I agree with you about the whole they're getting ready for, or if anything, they're ahead of the whole war against Apple and Amazon's Luna. We haven't even heard of Google Stadia in a long time. It still exists, but who's playing it?
It's been shut down.
It's been shut down officially?
Yeah.
Okay, so Stadia's gone, but Xbox, they're already thinking ahead. They've always thought ahead. It just wasn't a good time to move on it. Like with the whole Xbox One, what they did with the whole TV thing that we all seen before. Mm-hmm. That was moving ahead, but it was way too soon, I would say. And we all saw the backlash from that. And I mean, they're better now, in a better spot now, but Microsoft's been moving ahead with Xbox. And if Xbox wasn't still a thing, then we wouldn't have an Xbox Series X and S. And I do disagree with you about the whole design of it. I actually think the Xbox Series X is, in my opinion, the best design Xbox they've done. It's basically a monolith with a green.
That's not saying much. It's not saying much.
I think it looks cool.
But the thing is, when you compare,
but look how bold this thing is. This looks
humongous.
Crazy. It's humongous and it's ridiculous.
When they announced it, ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But look how much time they spent into designing it. Right. They wanted to make a statement. You know what I mean?
And you could design if you want, you can put face.
I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm a fan of the minimalistic stuff too. I think it looks good, minimalistic, but just from priorities wise, look how much effort Nintendo puts into the Switch and the functionality of the Switch, and that Sony puts into the design aesthetic. You got to look at the Series X and be like, okay, somebody spent a hot weekend on this, and they're like, all right, we could get it to fit in this so by so inch cube, and we're good to go. And that was it. They really focused on the hardware, like inside, and that's fine.
And they made the design of it from the outside look great too. There's videos of Microsoft how they designed the Xbox Series X and S, and it's really well planned out. How they stack certain components on top of each other for the X. And the
that's how PCs they do that in PCs.
I mean,
it's not really.
It's a PC.
This is like an Apple. This is like an Apple.
Yes. What? Microsoft's not a PC company. It's a software company.
But the thing is, they literally, like, when you talk about any type of PC, right? Like PC in of itself is Microsoft. Like that is, when you think of PC, when you talk about, when you say I have a PC, people don't think like, oh, I have a PC. That's actually a MacBook. No, they think Microsoft OS, Intel, AMD, and so forth. There's certain things, like when you think of just a basic PC, I mean, you have your basic components, like you have your, your MOBA, you have your CPU, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, none of that will run if you don't have a correct OS. And you really only have there's only real three options. You can go with a Linux-based OS, you can go with a Mac-based OS, or more importantly, you're probably going to go with the Windows-based OS. So yes, it's not a computer company as far as hardware is concerned, but I mean, think about any job that you work for. I mean, Microsoft OS is probably in 70, 80%, 90% of all PCs or all computers in the world. And that's the backbone of a lot of the infrastructure that we have is based on Microsoft OSs. So, them trying to, do a design of how they're going to build a Xbox to stack components and so forth. I mean, that's cool and all, but I mean, it's literally a cube. This is not rocket science. This is not something where, someone's spending, they probably spent millions of dollars because they have the capital for that. But no one's not seriously sitting there and saying, man, we were thinking about this design for 10 years and this is it's a cube. It's a cube, just like
I do hope they get to the point where it's a solid box. It's a cube, because I think that's
called the GameCube.
It wouldn't be the first cube.
They've done that.
That was made.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Right.
I'm not saying
that went pretty well too.
But the thing is with Microsoft is that the thing about them, like Ed brought up a good point. They've been trying to push a lot of software based features for a long time on the Xbox, where they were trying to do live TV before live TV was even a thing. The streaming services and whatnot, they were trying to do that in advance. They should have failed, and they did fail overall. The reason why they didn't fail is because, unlike Sega, when we go back and looking at the, back in the hallways of history, we see the Sega Saturn was way before its time. We see the Sega Dreamcast way before its time. The reason why Sega could not survive these innovative products that weren't catching on immediately was because they just didn't have the capital. If they had the capital like Microsoft can have, well, I mean, let's look at after the Xbox 360, at the end of the life cycle of the Xbox 360, we saw games pretty much start tanking. First party games started tanking down. When you went to the Xbox One, it was dead. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. It was very bad. But Microsoft, they could afford to have it be bad because guess what? They have all this extra capital. They're just like, whatever. Now, at one point, they did say they were not going to do, like the Xbox Series X was going to be the last console altogether. They had said they were going to do that. They said they were going to go to cloud gaming because that was the future, because consoles don't sell. But now, I mean, they really have the option to do whatever. If, let's say, hypothetically, the Xbox does not work for the next console lifecycle, just like Darkseid said, now Xbox has positioned themselves, if they can get this acquisition from Activision, they can position themselves to be less of a hardware company or a hardware console company, to be now software-based Game Pass subscriptions. Just like with like World of Warcraft, Blizzard. Blizzard, all they sell is a hub for you to log into Battle.net, and then you can log into WoW. They don't give you no hardware. You have to get your own PC. Now, if you're Xbox and you see, hey, at Blizzard, I think last earnings Blizzard pulled for like 2020, they pulled in $8 billion in revenue. Yep. If I'm Microsoft looking at that, I could say, well, there's obviously something to this whole subscription-based service. I'm going to go ahead and, jump on that train now, because I think I even said it in your stream earlier today. If I was Microsoft, or if I was Sony, I'd be like, damn, you know what? We can't be able to beat Microsoft, dollar for dollar. And we might need to go holler at Apple. Might go need to talk to Amazon. Maybe we can do some type of merger that way, because there's no way that Sony is going to be able to beat Microsoft dollar for dollar. And right now, for the future, if Microsoft fails as a hardware company, the Xbox actual consoles fail, they're still set. They have Game Pass. They have Game Pass for PC. Now they have all these titles within PC with Battle.net, with Blizzard. I mean, they're just going to be raking in money. Now, it's going to take a couple of years. It's probably going to take a decade or so or more for them to actually make enough profits to make this merger actually financially profitable. Yeah. It's probably going to take a decade or so, but still, I mean, they're going to see great profit numbers as long as they can crank out titles.
That's if they don't fuck it up. But we got to get that. Let's get down to also something very important to talk about here.
Sure.
Activision Blizzard is let's say this is their lowest point. Can we all agree that this is their lowest point?
This is lowest point as in being bought by Microsoft, or as
that too. But I mean, look, as a company, this is their lowest point in terms of even before the acquisition. Like we all know what's going on with the turmoil behind the scenes. Activision was not really Activision. Activision just is the Call of Duty company. They didn't really. Activision, when we were younger, made all kinds of fun games.
Yeah, different games.
A wide variety of games, But now Activision, all they do is Call of Duty. And you know what makes them a lot of money? We just said 8.1 billion. So that's Activision. Blizzard really doesn't lend itself to the console space outside of Diablo, and Overwatch was like a little bit, but Diablo was probably the biggest thing. Yeah.
A little bit. They're in the Major League gaming space.
But not really from the console space that much. It's like PC primarily.
Even Overwatch.
Overwatch kind of sizzled on the console space.
But even Microsoft owns that.
No. But I think Diablo had the longest legs in console. But Blizzard, look, Blizzard's amazing, but it lends itself mainly to the PC side of Game Pass. Great acquisition in and of itself. But even like Blizzard they're going through a lot of like creative turmoil, and they've a lot of scrutiny. I've heard a lot about Blizzard and Riot over the last year about how crazy it is to work there than anywhere else. I mean, in Ubisoft and all these other. So there's a lot of stuff coming out. So at this time, it's probably the best, most profitable time to purchase them when they're at their lowest point. But it's the riskiest time to pick that up. And how do you make gold out of a steaming pile of shit?
I think it's a good risk. Like with the
it's a good risk, but it's like they're not buying Activision Blizzard at the height of their power. You know, they're buying it at their lowest point with the highest potential. So it's a good bet. It's a good bet. I'm not saying
culturally it's the lowest. They are making they're making profits. I think they're still year in
25% increase they're over 2019.
Yeah, they're still making they're making was it cash over fist or hand over fist, whatever.
Yep.
Something like that,
yeah, they're making money. It's just that as a culture, Blizzard has gone through the shitstorm recently with sexual misconduct allegations, gender
worker rights,
gender disparity. There's been a lot of stuff that's
leadership turmoil.
Yeah, so they're getting hit hard. And I made this point earlier in our private group chat that like right now, like same thing. Microsoft coming in to take Activision Blizzard at this moment is like big dick energy from Microsoft at this moment. Because the thing is that, I mean, to turn around the image of Blizzard, you would need something very drastic. For Activision, Activision is really, there's not a huge amount of controversy, not as much as Blizzard has been recently. So Activision is kind of like, hey, we're stuck with this steaming pile of shit right now. How can we turn around? Without major overhauls within the company, I mean, the best way is to do the acquisition.
Yeah, this is it.
Microsoft can come in, get a whole bunch of IPs, clean house. Like we saw that the CEO of Activision, he says, "Hey, after this merger, I'm stepping away."
Yeah.
Now they can come in, clean house, and Microsoft, as far as we know, that people who are familiar with the merger and who has been on the inside of the talks has said that Microsoft said we're not going to do anything to change how the teams work. The teams are going to stay the same. They're going to work the same, but we're going to clean the house. So overall, that can be a really, really great thing for these companies. Because,
quite a mixed message.
Yeah, it's a mixed message. You're right. Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, it can be a really great thing for these individual companies because now you can get some of the toxic culture out and get back to doing what you love, and that's making games. But if I've said this plenty of times, Microsoft doesn't know how to make games, especially exclusive games that really get people's attention. So if Microsoft starts putting their fingers into developing these games, like they're going to Bethesda and saying, "Hey, for the next Skyrim, we want you to do this," and probably should shut the hell up, let Bethesda do their thing.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll probably do the Disney thing where they just purchase the studios and let them do their own thing.
I think that's
not what the Disney did. Disney got his fingers into Star Wars.
Microsoft
they get their fingers in Star Wars, but I think
Marvel.
They have their own separate things.
I think even Marvel, we're seeing them get their fingers into Marvel to see.
I mean, they're getting their fingers, but they're still
Marvel. So Marvel's firmly established
money.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but see, I think Disney's a good example here of, ask a Star Wars fan how Disney's doing with Star Wars.
Star Wars fans will always be unhappy, though. This was the same conversation they had in.
I guess we'll get to that. We're sneak preview
movies.
for later.
Yeah,
Microsoft with Bethesda.
Green Tinder's jumping ahead to the end.
No,
Microsoft with Bethesda. Whatever it's called.
Yes. What is it called?
That's it. Bethesda.
Bethesda.
They have done what they want to do, and Microsoft is just helping him out financially. Microsoft owns them.
You don't know that because
they haven't done anything.
There's no way
they release something.
Doom,
an educated.
Okay, hold on now. If when it all comes down, my Xbox will have, this is insane. Xbox will have 23 first-party studios if everything falls into place. Yep. 23 first-party studios. Are you telling me down the line, maybe 2 years down the line, they're going to sit down and go like, all right, you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You guys go ahead and shut down. Move your people over to these 3. Go ahead. You 4. Why don't you merge? And could you guys support the Call of Duty team? I don't care what you're doing. guarantee you. And if you have any questions, you can go ask Rare how they're doing, because that's exactly how Microsoft rolls.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying how how Star Wars is messed up now. That's what I'm saying. That's not going to happen.
Why not?
I don't know.
I mean, Microsoft has a history
with the
what
previous studios they purchased.
Rare.
I'm not talking about Rare. I'm talking about the studios they purchased within the last 5 years.
The newest acquisitions.
Yeah.
Not at all.
The newest acquisition was Bethesda.
Bethesda. They haven't done anything that is not Bethesda.
I think if it's profitable, they won't mess with it.
Exactly.
Like Darkseid said, the weaker ones will be
like
merged.
with Ninja Theory. They're doing Hellblade, Senua's Saga. And that was their plan to do that before Microsoft acquired.
Yeah, Microsoft already said that they will not.
That was already in place.
Any games that are currently in development, Microsoft said they will not do anything to the development cycle. They're not going to. If the game was initially supposed to be a split between different consoles, not be console exclusive, or if it was supposed to be console exclusive, Microsoft said, "Now they take their word for what it is." They said that they will not touch that development at all. They'll let it continue on as it was proceeding, and they will only jump in when it is new titles that are coming out, after these initial launches. So I mean, you can't really say that Bethesda is that Microsoft's showing of good faith for keeping games true to the original development cycle is anything at the moment, because you're talking about Doom. Doom was in production before Microsoft even got involved.
We're talking about what is that game that came out, that PlayStation game, Deathloop. Deathloop is a PlayStation exclusive game made by Bethesda. So, and that it was released after the acquisition, but I think before promotional. It was released after acquisition, but it was before all the promotional exclusivity and everything was out there. So they honored that, which I don't think they could go back on. It was too far down the pipe. But we'll see what Bethesda does. We don't really know. We haven't seen it yet.
But they could have easily said, you know what, Deathloop, Xbox only. I mean, they can do that if they want to.
That would have been disastrous for them, because they already
legally they couldn't
get
a lot of issues.
It was already branded for Sony.
And Sony's probably and when a lot of these exclusivity deals, the consoles are paying. They pay money to these developers to make it exclusive. So it's not like they can just say, Microsoft buys it and then says, hey, we're going to change it to an Xbox exclusive. Screw you, Sony. Sony at that point legally would have a lot of standing to fight against that, and it'll ultimately cost Microsoft money for a battle they're going to lose regardless.
It's not worth the money.
And I guarantee, and it's not even just worth the money. If it was just a straight legal battle that Microsoft could win, they probably would do that. But the thing is that it's a battle that they are almost guaranteed to lose. And I'm sure that when these mergers were happening, these acquisitions were happening, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going in the background that, of course, we don't see. I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't be surprised if Sony was at the table during these acquisitions and saying, hey, we are obligated to get this game or this game through exclusive deals that we've already established. This already been pinned, to break this contract, you're gonna have to pay us X amount of money out of it. So there's a lot of legal stuff that we just don't see, and we will never hear.
We don't even know about.
Yeah. So
there's probably stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just say with Microsoft doing what they're doing, that's great. I look forward to what they're doing. I'm nervous. I'm just a little bit nervous about the future of. I don't want developers to get bought out. So when someone brought this up in a previous convo I was in, that Sony has bought first party studios as well, and no one really bat an eye at that. And I think the big disparity in between what Microsoft is doing and what Sony is doing is just the scale. Activision is one of the biggest game publishers out there, currently has some of the biggest franchises in video game history, while some of the titles that Sony's picking up are smaller studios. They were console exclusives regardless before the acquisition. So it's just the scale that kind of worries me about this, where we're getting to a war of dollars instead of a war or keeping
quality.
developers, keeping quality and keeping developers separate. I think it's scary only because Amazon. I don't want Amazon to come into the arena and then just say, "Hey, we got the biggest bank, and we're just gonna buy all these studios," and then that's just that. And I don't want Apple to do the same thing because ultimately, what Amazon game have you seen that has been like, "Oh my goodness, this is the best game ever," or same thing for Apple. I just don't want them just to like. I'm happy for Microsoft. I'm happy Microsoft's doing it because if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be somebody who's been in the console runnings for years and been in games for years. I just don't want this to become a trend where Apple, Amazon are jumping in, and it's like I said, it's just a war.
Well, that's where you're going down. If Apple wants to solidify its, it's whenever they announced their gaming platform, they just bought Ubisoft, or whoever else wants to do. Sony can't do it. We all know that Sony doesn't have the money that Microsoft does to do it. So, it risks. There's a lot of things at risk, and it's the quality of these studios at risk too. Because at the end of the day, competition is good for quality. You know, when you have competition, it breeds better quality. As a longtime Sony fan for years, Sony was at its best when it was with its back against the wall and it was the underdog. They created PlayStation Plus. It forced Microsoft to give games for gold. You know what I mean? And every time, what was the thing when PlayStation always online, all that stuff, they forced Microsoft to change their policy. So it was always like this competitiveness, but it forced change in the industry. And now, like, you're having this homogenous, everyone is owned by one person, or it's getting to that point where there's not going to be any, like, they're going to come down and say, well, it's always online and no one's going to say a thing. And they aren't afraid of anyone to say anything about it.
Well, it can go the same way with Xbox pressuring Sony to do something that everyone else is doing, like with crossplay. Xbox and Nintendo were doing crossplay with Fortnite and Minecraft, but Sony wasn't. Sony had said, like, nope, we're not doing that. We're not going to play nice with the other two, and eventually they folded. So you can say the same thing with Sony.
Yeah,
right, but Sony, go ahead.
No, and yes, you can say the same thing about Sony, but once again, it comes down to scale.
The scale
is the scale of what Sony can. Sony has a fight with on Fortnite, right? The scale of that is small comparatively to a lot of other games that are out there. And Sony wasn't playing well with crossplay in general, sure. But we're talking about now publishers, like major IPs, like, with Activision by itself, you get Call of Duty, you get Tony Hawk Pro Skater, you get Spyro, you get Crash Bandicoot. Under Activision is Mojang. Mojang has Candy Crush.
Mojang is big,
which is really big. You have now Blizzard. Blizzard owns the RTS world is pretty much owned by Blizzard at this point. Outside of what's that shit called? What's that shit called?
Riot?
No, not Riot. Dota, but it has you have WoW, you have WoW, you have StarCraft, you have Diablo, you have Hearthstone, you have Overwatch. These are not just like simple. These are not small IPs. Like, and I think because a lot of, like, for the Blizzard side, that's more PC. These are still really, really huge IPs. Like, they're currently developing Overwatch 2. Overwatch 1 was MLG, esports gaming. There's still tournaments that go on with that. And really only thing that competes with that is like games like Dota. Then you have League of Legends, which League of Legends is in its own realm, but you don't have like a whole bunch of competition currently right now. So Microsoft buying these IPs and buying these publishers, that's why people are this is why people are flipping their shit over Microsoft doing it as compared to when Sony did it. Because Sony was doing small studios. Microsoft is owning huge companies that are these companies are publicly traded companies. These are not like, hey, I'm a private little developer and I'm over here making these little games because they're
buying publishers. They're not buying developers. They're studios.
These are I think that's the big difference in between the two. So I think anytime you talk about Microsoft in this and you try to bring up Sony in this, you have to realize the scale of what you're dealing with. And just like Cascade said in the chat, he's like, Sony needs to sell more TVs. Outside of PlayStation and TVs, what the hell does Sony do? I mean, Sony back in the day used to have the Walkman.
IP. They own. Maybe that's. I think they have IP, and that's it.
They have the movie game. They have Spider-Man. They have movies and so forth. But
Sony Entertainment has a lot of IPs, but that's it. Really.
Yeah, because movies and
TV shows.
Pretty much it. I don't even say
Walkmans. Yeah,
I'm talking about now, not back in the day.
Walkmans.
They can bring that back for sure.
They're flying off the shelves. But yeah, I think you need to consider the scale. And I think if you're having any conversation and you're trying to compare Sony to Microsoft in any realm outside of just players or first party exclusives that are really good, you really just and console sales. Yeah, Sony wins that. Still to this day, Sony still wins console sales, first party exclusives. That doesn't change. Sony still has better games.
Yeah, proof is in the pudding still. But you gotta have games still.
5 years from now,
well, the games are coming. It's definitely coming.
But the thing is,
it takes time.
Yeah, we can't judge the games. We can't say, oh well, Xbox win.
Yeah, we can't prejudge the games. Be like, oh yeah, they're gonna be much better.
Yeah,
I mean, when you also look at Activision and Blizzard in the last 10 years, how many of them have produced Game of the Year quality games?
No.
Game of the Year quality games? I mean, they've
Activision and Blizzard.
Games.
How many of them in the last 10 years have produced?
Overwatch was.
Overwatch was. I would say Overwatch is. But in the last 10 years, was that older? Overwatch has been around a lot longer than I thought.
I'm sure 5 years.
I'll give you Overwatch, but outside of Overwatch.
Hearthstone,
yes.
I don't know if
Hearthstone is really popular.
It was really popular, but it's definitely died down since then.
It has died down a lot.
If you look at Game of the Year games, the winners, we had EA last year. You have Sony or Nintendo. Really, they're the ones who are winning. Go back through all the Game of the Year winners, and
I'm sure Activision, Blizzard, whoever within that
Activision produces Call of Duty. That's all they do, and it's
sure one of those is like one of the greatest Call of Duties ever. I don't play Call of Duty anymore.
I mean, but it generates
Call of Duty's all the
revenue.
same, man.
Yeah, it generates revenue.
Call of Duty's a beast, but yeah,
generate revenue does not equal Game of the Year. Generating hype or buzz in the news does not say Game of the Year. Game of the Year, you might be best in category, but it's not Game of the Year. Game of the Year is the best game of the year. So like when you think about that, you think of like the God of Wars. I think at one point there was Forza back in the day, but that has been a very long time for Microsoft. So when
but I'm talking in regards to importance to an investor. Like if you're purchasing something, you don't care if it wins awards. You care if it generates money.
That's true.
That's what I was referring to. Yeah. Not the
from this perspective.
Yeah.
No, this is definitely driven by the money.
23 studios that Microsoft has acquired, at least a good 5 of them are going to be top notch, close or Game of the Year.
We gotta wait.
That's not just the 23. There's also the other ones that they have.
At least the top 5 you're talking about are already producing and keeping games as a service games alive. So your top 5, I don't know, when you go down the list, like Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer and Treyarch, they're in a cycle of Call of Duty games. They're not going to be pulled out of it. They're very high quality, polished studio that produces AAA Call of Duty games every year. On a cycle. They deliver. They're like a machine.
Yeah.
But they're in a cycle to deliver Call of Duty games. You don't fuck with that cycle. You keep that going.
They're not going to, but the next
I know,
Call
but
of Duty...
you're talking about these big studios, the ones you're talking about, the heavy hitters. I mean, I got this like list and I could go down to like Bethesda Game Studios. Oh, no, sorry, not Bethesda Game Studios. Blizzard Entertainment. Bethesda. Sorry, I apologize. Blizzard Entertainment is going to continue to support Blizzard Entertainment's moneymaker games.
The
last original IP that Blizzard put out there was Overwatch. Great success, but Blizzard doesn't have a huge history of continually pushing out new IP. They support their IPs like crazy, which is great. They have BlizzCon, they have great community. So if you're looking for new ideas, it's going to come out of these smaller studios or however that looks. But these big studios they've acquired here, they're already in the midst of, they're part of these big machines that are just continuing. They were purchased to keep Call of Duty going. They were purchased to keep World of Warcraft running. They were purchased to keep all these pre-existing games going.
What I'm saying is in the 2023 or 24, when the new Call of Duty hits, it's going to be exclusive and it could be a banger compared to the previous ones.
I don't think it's going to be exclusive.
Even Overwatch 2.
You don't think it's exclusive?
I don't think it's going to be exclusive.
I mean, you spend $68 million. Something's got to be exclusive.
No, but maybe they're just interested in the rights of the thing, not
down the road
having it on the machines.
If I'm Microsoft, right? Like just like we said about earlier, Microsoft is not in the hardware game. Like when you think about consoles don't make. They're not what makes console makers money.
They lose money,
or they're barely making any profit at all. What they're trying to actually make profit on is the games that you're buying for it. That is, and the services that you're buying, the monthly subscriptions.
That's what I mean.
That's the bread and butter.
That's what I'm talking about.
So if you're saying that, then what will do better? What will make it better for you overall? An exclusive where, because you gotta also think with like games like Call of Duty. Call of Duty, it doesn't make its money just from the game itself. That's like with games like PUBG, right? PUBG just went free to play. The reason why it could go free to play is because there's certain things behind paywalls, and also because there's microtransactions. Microtransactions have been big ever since 2010. So with these microtransactions, if I'm Microsoft, I would say this. I would say, okay, I'll make a console exclusive. I'll make Call of Duty console exclusive for the first 6 months. Or I'll make maps like they used to do before. Say, hey, maps are coming out for Xbox. They're going to come out for 6 months exclusive to Xbox. But after that, I'm going to keep it on Xbox, keep the service on the subscription on Xbox, but also sell it to PlayStation. Because now PlayStation, they're going to make money off of PlayStation too.
Make money off PlayStation. So you don't have to do anything.
I see what you're saying, but why spend $68 million and not have it an
because you're opening up more revenue streams.
So think like this. You make your money back faster.
You either make money from one stream or open all kinds of streams.
I get what you're saying, but I get what you're saying, but it's going to be exclusive to Game Pass. It's going to be on Xbox and PC only down the road. So 2, 3, 4 years down the road.
So I'm gonna give you an example, right? Let's say you're a burger owner. You want to get into a burger franchise. So you buy McDonald's. Right? So you say, hey, you know what? McDonald's can obviously build their own McDonald's. There's obviously there's McDonald's franchises that McDonald's itself actually owns. But then what did McDonald's say? McDonald's said, you know what? Well, we got a good thing here. We can just keep everything to ourselves. Or what we can do is, hey, we can sell you the license, the franchise to McDonald's. We still technically own that McDonald's. Like McDonald's, just because they sell the franchise doesn't mean that McDonald's doesn't own that, still own that franchise. They still own the image and everything else. But they allow someone else to buy a franchise. And now they say, hey, McDonald's, me and myself as McDonald's, I can go and say, hey, I can build a McDonald's myself, or I can give the franchise to someone else. Someone else now pays me for that, and I get a cut of the revenue that they've affronted the money to build the store location. They're getting the food and so forth, and then they're paying me per month to actually run that franchise. So now, before where I had to front the cost 100% and then get money out and so forth, which is, McDonald's is one of the biggest restaurants in the world, because it is a restaurant, is one of the biggest restaurants in the world, is not solely based on McDonald's putting franchises out there themselves. They're actually giving it to other people to be able to make money for them. And all they have to do is say, hey, just rake in the money. Make sure you take care of our image. But other than that, I can rake in free money that I did not have to put no money up, no capital up for it to work. So
I see what you're saying, but do you really think that they're going to spend $68 million and not have exclusive games to their Game Pass subscription?
Yes.
Well, no, you're talking about you just said it yourself. No, we just said it yourself. No. Game Pass is Game Pass. They're exclusive to Game Pass. You put Game Pass on other things,
another system.
Well, right now,
not the Xbox. Not this. This is irrelevant. This is dead. This is dying.
Yeah, I think
I think you're stuck in this.
Microsoft
you think this is Game Pass? This is not Game Pass, bud.
No. I said many times, even a few seconds ago, Xbox and PC. Now, it's solely on those two things.
Not Xbox.
Now it might go
Game
to TV.
But Ed,
I said Game Pass on
it's like going back to
Xbox
Disney Plus.
PC.
You can get Disney Plus on a Roku. You can get Disney Plus on your phone on iOS. You can get the Disney Plus on any device that you want.
You know what's a good example? Apple TV or whatever their app was called.
Apple TV.
Yeah, they restricted where it could be streamed to. I think Roku, they had some issue with Roku, and then they settled it recently where you can now watch it. But that stopped people from getting a Roku, never owned a Sony or a Apple device, signing up to an Apple account and giving Apple money that they never would have given them. But that's the same idea.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
I said Game Pass on Xbox and or PC. I did just say Xbox.
I know, and that's too restrictive.
But you're restricting it to two things.
Hold on. If you wanted to, you can play Xbox. I'm not Xbox. You can play Game Pass on your phone, because I've done that many times without even being around my Xbox.
All right, let me give you this idea.
Hold on. There's a way you can play Game Pass games. Now, you guys talk. Let me talk.
It's just annoying because we're not gonna go anywhere. I already know.
Well, no, I mean, I think you're not getting. It's not really a hard. Yeah,
it's not a hard concept on other devices. So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, you don't have the Xbox. Hey, you have Game Pass. You can play on your phone. You can play on your PC or your Windows. Not Windows. Android or iPhone. You can do that without even having an Xbox.
But it's beyond that, though. It's Apple. It's your iPad.
I'm not talking about Apple. I'm talking about Microsoft.
I know, but Microsoft is a small piece of the puzzle. You're saying, I know. I don't understand why he doesn't get this.
I know. I get you're saying, but
you're not understanding it. Listen, I'm pretty sure.
Why
Eric, myself.
Can I just throw out one piece of one?
Microsoft spend $68 million.
Let me just.
Because they're looking at it as an investment. Do you think
41 million PlayStation Plus has some like 41 million subscribers, right? Okay. PlayStation Plus. Game Pass has like 21 million subscribers.
So are you saying we're going to see Game Pass and Sony on a Sony PlayStation?
And on Nintendo Switch. Yeah. And on Nintendo Switch.
Then why hasn't it happened yet?
It will happen. Like we're talking about that Microsoft is investing money for something down the line. Yeah. And it's down the line is that it doesn't need to do anything anymore. It won't need to put out any hardware anymore. Game Pass is the future. This is why I said Microsoft hates Xbox, because the box physically is costing them money. They're trying to get to a point where it's software where they can just be like, all right, Sony, for so-and-so obscene amount of money, Game Pass can be used on your service and you'll get a cut out of it. And we'll keep the games fresh. We'll keep all these cool things going. And then they'll tell the same thing to Nintendo. And if you want, you can pop in there and play your Switch xCloud through Switch. That's the whole point of this.
If Microsoft hated their Xbox, then why would they make an Xbox Series X and S and not just give up on Xbox One?
Because they have the capital to be able to do so. Yeah. They can do whatever they want. But let me bring up another point. This is to show you how subscription-based services are going to ultimately be the way of the future.
I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting it at all.
Anyways, so let me finish. So, anyways,
when did I say no? This is not gonna happen.
Ed, you got to talk.
Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
You got to talk, Ed. Be quiet. So now, with you look at cloud-based services. You look at AWS. You have the Azure. You have your Google Cloud Platform. These are subscriptions and services that are. This is literally what is happening with Game Pass right now. When you have the ability, like most people, when you have a corporation, you have a company, you say, hey, you know what, I need to invest into X amount of infrastructure in order to make my business work. After so many years, you have to stay competitive and stay efficient, you have to invest in infrastructure to do what you want to do. People now are saying, well, hell, if I can just go into a cloud environment and I can, for a fraction of the cost, stay up to date. I have a subscription. I can stay up to date. I can scale up or scale down as I need to. And I can get all the benefits of having the most up-to-date hardware, up-to-date OSs. I can be able to tear stuff down if I need them. I can scale up horizontally and vertically if need be. All I have to do is pay a subscription. This is why AWS, like Amazon, Prime doesn't make them money. For Amazon Prime Video, all the other stuff doesn't make them money. Their biggest revenue that they have is cloud services, is subscription-based models. For Azure, that's what Microsoft is making tons of money, because on the government side, private sector side, subscription-based models are what works. These subscription-based models can work on Mac computers. They can work. They don't limit them to only work on Windows computers, or if it's a Fire stick. Yeah, they don't, or they don't limit them to where you can use them. They say, hey, you're going to use this service. You can use it wherever you want to, and we're going to get our money regardless. So we're cool. Do whatever you want. What Microsoft is going to do? Why would Microsoft say, hey, PlayStation, you guys have twice as many subscribers, you have twice as many consoles out there, twice as many gamers than what we currently have out in capacity. We as Microsoft, we only have maybe 10 million Xbox owners out there, but Sony might have 40 million. It would be ridiculous for Microsoft to say, hey, you know what, we're going to put exclusives behind our console that nobody's really buying to that extent. Why not play fair with the other console, put Xbox Game Pass on these consoles, and now they pay a subscription. People who would not buy an Xbox regardless, no matter what, now they're going to still get money from those users that they would never have gotten for a infrastructure that they already have set in place. Xbox Game Pass, the infrastructure architecture is there. They don't need to do anything other than expand it. And the cost of expanding it is pennies to them. So for them, they can get more on the dollar by sending Xbox Game Pass onto other consoles. Those users now are saying, hey, I can, on my PlayStation, I can have access to Xbox Game Pass services. On my PlayStation, I can have access to all these games. Why not? I mean, that makes more logical sense for them to do something like that than to say, hey, you know what? We're just going to pander to our 10 million Xbox users. We might get some more users. We might get a couple million. What do you think is going to make them more money in the long run? It's going to be pandering to the other consoles. So that makes a lot more sense financially than sitting here saying, oh, we're going to gate all our exclusives and so forth. Look at Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5 has been gated behind PlayStation 5. I guarantee you, if they had put it on both consoles, they would have been made a lot more money probably, but because Sony threw Capcom a shit ton of money up front, they got their console exclusive. But I guarantee you, it would have been a lot better. Just like we saw Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 was on both Xbox and PlayStation. And it's still to this day one of the top rated fighting games. Still to this day, people still play the shit out of it, more so than any other fighting game in that same time frame or genre. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense financially for Microsoft to sit here and say we're going to make all our games console exclusive and not look into the future of saying, hey, we need to put Xbox Game Pass in every TV that we can, on every console that we can, and rake in as much money as possible.
I see what you're saying, but if that was the case, then why would Nintendo have their own like online service, even though it's crap? Their Nintendo Online is crap, and Sony is rumored to have their own Game Pass subscription service coming up. If that was the case, then why not just say, hey, you know what, Microsoft, forget our rumored Spartacus or whatever it's called, just bring your Game Pass here. Or Nintendo, hey, you know what, our Nintendo Online sucks, just bring your Game Pass here. Why would they just do that then?
Because the revenue is not coming to Sony.
Options.
Yeah, like,
but I think they're
not gonna just let them do that.
But they're not.
Isn't there like an EA Pass you can access on all
Origin
systems?
Yeah, Origin, EA Play. Yeah, but I think
it's already happening.
I think they recently just.
Yeah, I mean, you got Sega. Look, it just takes time. Look, Sega games are the Sega library is on Nintendo. I mean, that's just an idea of what you'll at some point what will happen.
Yeah, but how many of those other companies that you mentioned have their own console? None of them. It's only Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo.
I know, but we just talked about how Sony and Nintendo they're in a different ballpark. This is Microsoft functioning at a different. So Microsoft at this point, I wouldn't even see Sony and Nintendo as competition. They're, like I said, they're competing with Apple and Amazon.
I get that.
Trickle down to Sony and Nintendo, their revenue streams you haven't tapped yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's more PlayStations in people's houses than Xboxes. All you got to do is pop a Game Pass app onto the PlayStation, and you're making money where you'd never had money before.
This is where that.
Okay, so this is why they poured $68 billion. They didn't pour $68 billion into this to just make money out of this little piece of the pie.
On a niche system.
Yeah, they want the bigger
Americans
piece of the pie.
Really buy.
And Microsoft historically is a software company. They are interested in software and cloud-based software. They're not in the hardware space. The hardware space is dying.
I mean, there's a hard. If it's dying, then why is Sony PlayStation 5 making still selling? Why is the Xbox
because that's
Series,
all they know how to do. That's what they do.
Yeah, Xbox Series X is still selling too. NES.
But Microsoft doesn't make money from
PlayStation 4 is still. See, the thing is, this idea, and we gotta step outside of America for a second.
Yeah,
PlayStation 4 is still. They're still making games just because they don't make games in the United States at the rate that we want them to do. Overseas in Japan, they're still producing PlayStation 4 games in mass. So
Europe,
everywhere
else,
everywhere else, they are producing PlayStation 4 games in mass. So I mean, we as Americans, of course, we want to think we're the center of this whole console debate. We're only relevant in console debate when it comes to Xbox. When it comes to Xbox sells primarily in the United States. Outside other parts of the world, it still hasn't caught up to Sony. When you look at Sony outside of America, America is not as big as spender, is not as big as export, or it's not as big as country that sells PlayStations. It's Japan. Japan still sells a shit ton of PlayStation 4s. So in other parts of the world, so PlayStation 4 is still a major console out there. Everybody wants
PlayStation 4 is also the best-selling console of all time. There is your in to how many households have a PlayStation 4 globally sitting in their house that you could tap in a Game Pass app onto and start making money off of. That they didn't even have to do crap for.
You know what I mean? They're not going to do it. Even if they wanted to do it,
they will do it. That's the end game.
Let them do it.
Sony and Nintendo will let them do it. That's what they're doing.
If they wouldn't let them do it, then why would they make their own not Game Pass?
Because that's what they're. Because the game has changed. The game has changed.
No, if anything, Game Pass has inspired Nintendo and Sony to do their own kind of like Game Pass service. The Nintendo Online, which is crap.
They can do that, but I'm saying down the line, that Sony and Nintendo can do that, and they probably will do that. But what I'm saying is down the line for Microsoft, it doesn't make any sense for them not to open up Game Pass to everything else, because
I'm not denying that they won't. They will.
So that's what they will do.
To TVs and whatever, but to Sony, PlayStation, and Nintendo, it's not that.
Sega. We said the exact same thing about Sega.
What about Sega?
Yeah, and for a while, remember there was a rumor.
We never thought Sega would be on a Nintendo console ever. We never thought a Sega character would be in a Nintendo game, especially a major franchise of a Nintendo game. It's not this is something that's not going to happen instantaneous. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not like next month Xbox Game Pass. Oh, new to Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Now. Xbox Game Pass. Like, it's not going to happen. It's gonna be. I would say at least take a decade.
Yeah.
I can see something happening.
But if Microsoft, but the thing is this.
But that's where they're going.
Yeah, Microsoft is not going to. I don't think Microsoft is going to make games exclusive. They're gonna make some games. Absolutely. Like if you look at Starfield, whatever. Starfield, that's gonna be an Xbox exclusive. But and it's gonna be on PC as well. That certain games like that, sure. But when you come out with like major franchises, I don't think it doesn't make sense at any point in time for Xbox to single-handedly keep everything exclusive to them, trying to push consoles that's not going to matter outside the United States. Even with all these acquisitions, these are still American-based games that people overseas don't care about to the extent like Americans do. So you're not going to see a mass exodus of people going from PlayStation to Xbox. You're going to have some people switching over for sure. Absolutely. Like even just the scare on the financial sector, Sony saw its worst dip in stock history since 2008.
20 million?
Yeah, so it dropped
20 billion.
Billion.
20 billion with a B.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter. All this like console stuff doesn't matter at the end of the day. But Xbox is looking at the long game. If they continue on the way that they're doing and buying these publishers out, Sony's going to fight back regardless. I'm pretty sure Sony's going to fight back on this one as well. But Sony's going to fight back as much as they can because they don't want Xbox to absorb all these companies. But if Xbox continues to do what they do, they are going to be in competition because you're going to have Amazon start coming into the ring. Amazon's already got into the gaming sphere. You're going to have Apple. You're going to have Apple. Definitely has already said that they want to come out with their own console recently. So, these people are going to jump in, and then that's going to be the real battle what's going to happen. And then at that point, Microsoft is going to, if they've won, they have all these big publishers. It doesn't make sense for them to hold back the exclusives when they can make money hand over fist through Apple. And the thing is that doesn't stop. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deal with Sony and say, hey, well, if we put Xbox Game Pass on your thing, for every subscription you get $3 out of that. So for out of a $15 subscription, you get $3. So Sony's making money just for hosting an app on their console. And at the end of the day, they're still making money.
I get what you're saying. And I'm not saying that Xbox, Microsoft would not want to do that. I think they would like to do that. I'm saying is Sony and Nintendo not wanting to do that. And if anything, in maybe in a decade, I don't see Xbox Game Pass being on a Sony and Nintendo console. If anything, I could see Sony and Nintendo being on the Xbox Game Pass console or subscription service.
So you don't.
They're buying everything else.
No,
but here's Nintendo at one point.
Sony can't.
But here's the thing: Sony
would lose money.
Sony doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that?
See it like this: like Sega made consoles back in the day, and all of a sudden they just we all know what happened with Sega. Now Sega's making games for all systems, and even at one point there's been rumor that Sega was going to get bought out by Microsoft. There's at one point that Nintendo was going to get bought by Microsoft. But
of course, just move on to the next one.
But it doesn't. What you're saying doesn't make any sense at all.
But what you're saying,
you're saying doesn't make any sense either.
No, but what you're
Sony
saying
is not Sony's not a software company. They're a hardware company. They're in hardware. They're gonna be making a box.
A hardware company too.
Sure. But Sony is gonna be making a box. Sony's gonna be making a box till they die.
Okay, and
Microsoft
Sega made a box until they died.
I don't know why you're talking about Sega. I'm not talking about Sega.
They were once a console company or hardware company.
Sure, and they failed. They failed because they couldn't compete.
So why can't Sony fail? Why can't Nintendo? God forbid. Why can't Nintendo fail?
The reason why Sony can't fail is because one, Sega. What did Sega produce outside of consoles in video games?
Yeah. True.
That was it. So Sony.
But what else is Sony doing besides video games? Is movies.
They have IP.
They have IPs. They have movies. They have
IP is very valuable.
TVs.
They probably made more money off the last Spider-Man movie than like all their TVs combined.
Yeah, but they have electronics.
I don't know.
Like actually saved their company though.
PlayStation is the centerpiece of Sony right now.
But didn't save their company because they're doing terrible in sales of TVs.
I'm sure they did.
Sure, back in the early 90s, late 90s or something.
That's what I mean, yeah. But
we were talking about, we're 30 years now. So
but that's the thing that you were talking about. Sony is this hardware company. Nintendo is a hardware company and a software company, but primarily they're hardware companies. Microsoft is not a hardware company. So if anyone would go anywhere, it would be Microsoft would bring their software cloud product to other hardware companies. Sony's not going to bring their property to a Microsoft. Microsoft is trying to get out of hardware.
I think Waldo's. I think Green Chair is about to lose his shit. I see him turning red. I think he's matching.
What I'm saying is, if Sony in a decade from now, whatever. They lost the console war or whatever, just like how Sega did. And then all of a sudden, okay, now Sony PlayStation games are now going to be on all platforms, Nintendo, Xbox X3 or whatever. I can see that happening because Xbox.
I see Sony and Nintendo lasting longer in the hardware field than Microsoft. I think Microsoft will stop because it knows that it's going to lose money and it can just make more money doing software.
And I think every times with
they've done it enough times. They know what they're doing. Every step of what they're doing right now is leading them there. So why wouldn't they? It's
think about also think about this for you're saying so even if America stepped out from Sony, let's say everybody went to Xbox instead. Sony still wouldn't lose. Sony still would not be bankrupt from the console war. Sony would still be fine. It won't be as at the level it is now, with the PS4 being the top selling console of all time. Same thing with Nintendo. It won't be one of the top selling. I think Nintendo is number 2 Nintendo's number 2 with the
Switch.
No, I think it's Game Boy. Game Boy is the highest.
Oh,
I thought it was a Wii.
Sure.
Well, I know handhelds is a different.
But yeah, handhelds is a totally different. Nintendo is absolutely killing that. There's no market that compares to Nintendo. That's literally a monopoly on that market. But even if, like I said, Sony and Nintendo, all their fans went to Xbox in the United States, they'll still be fine. Like I said, they won't be pulling in mass revenue like they are doing right now, but they'll still be fine. So I think that it's kind of disingenuous to think that in the next 5-10 years that Sony is going to be hurting that bad, where now they're going to have to give their games up like Sega. Sega, literally all they did was produce games and consoles. They cannot compare to the cheaper alternatives that were out there and the more easily accessible games. So, I mean, I think when you compare these two, I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that's kind of unreal.
All right, let's move on. But before we move on real quick, I want to ask a question. What can Sony possibly do here? What do you guys think? Really quickly.
We should be asking you that, though.
I mean, I have a few ideas. I just want to know what you guys are thinking.
Honestly,
let's hear Guru Tuner. He's been really quiet. So let's hear it from.
Oh, man, I'm bored to tears.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Cool. Great insight.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up, man.
He's going back to his Candy Crush game right now.
Before we answer stuff, what's the chat saying?
It's more Sony stuff. It was just saying that PlayStation costs a lot to make, and really it doesn't matter how many consoles you sell. Consoles is not what the profit makes. It's not consoles doesn't
software.
It's not how many consoles you sell. It's the profit that you make from the software that you sell.
Oh yeah. On top of that, when Sony they lose money too when they make their consoles, and they're not making a profit their consoles either. Same thing with Nintendo. It's the games. Yeah. So it's not just what you were saying, Xbox.
It's very specifically, it's online games is where they make their most, because they lose more money through physical and through publishing. The further away from the product they get, they're losing money for that $60 game, but they can still charge $60 right on the PSN store and get a huge piece of the pie. So everyone is invested in this offsite cloud-based model.
My question to you is, though, if you think they're going to give up on Xbox, why make a Series S, Series X? Why make a Xbox One X? Why did they just keep going from the Xbox One? Why didn't they stop there?
One X? What do you mean? Is One X one of the new ones?
No, One X was the one before the new gen stuff.
What is your question? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm so confused by your question.
So you were saying
it's trying to defend the fact that Microsoft invested in Xbox because they made the latest ones.
Yeah, you were saying.
They have to stay competitive. Yeah, they have to stay competitive. We're talking about an end game. You're talking about right now. The Series X.
We're looking down the road. We're not looking in the immediate future.
If you guys remember when the Xbox One came out and it was doing pretty bad, Microsoft was actually going to pull the plug on Xbox. They were going to pull the plug.
I know you are in that boardroom and you have that inside information.
It's been said. They said it. Even made a small documentary.
There's no way Microsoft would have done that at that time.
No. Do it.
Microsoft did say because of how bad the sales were that they were thinking, but it wasn't that they weren't going to. They
pulled the plug on the console, but they're not going to abandon
the service. Yeah,
they were
going to switch that cloud base.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're
going down that road anyways.
No. From my understanding, this is way before Game Pass. This is like the first year of Xbox One. Like in that time frame, like they were going to put a plug on Xbox. Period. There was no plans for Game Pass or anything like that. It wasn't until things got switched around that Game Pass happened, and all of a sudden, okay, things were happening. Let's continue Xbox. If they weren't focused on hardware, why make a Xbox One X and then Series X and Series S?
Because they're still trying to compete at that time. They're still trying to compete right now. Yeah. But Xbox Series X might be the last hardware they have because they're getting to a point where they don't need hardware anymore.
You think about
but as long as somebody produces a product, like as long as that product is coming out, they have to have a competitor on the shelf.
He's pointing to PlayStation 5, guys, for our audio listeners.
Oh yeah,
they can't see you over the audio.
Look, this is an audio visual medium. I don't know what to tell you. Get with the times.
And that's all it is. That's all it is.
All right. Well, getting back to what do you guys think, real quick? How does Sony compete? I'm just curious what you guys think.
Sony,
what's their move this year?
This year they would have to be very aggressive with their PlayStation Plus and PS Now integration. They already said that they were going to combine those two streaming sources. They had to be very aggressive about putting those out. Start putting
Game Pass, their version of Game Pass this year.
It's like Spartacus or something like that.
Oh, whatever the name is. I mean, that's inconsequential. They just need to be very aggressive about putting it out this year. They need to bundle possibly movie selections into that as well. But that's going to be very hard because, this outside of Spider-Man, what else do they really have that really grabs people's attention?
They can, but that would be a recipe for blandness.
Yeah, it's not going to do much.
I hope they don't do that.
But the thing is, what they really need to focus on outside of, and I said this earlier in Ed's chat, is the PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus integration. Be very aggressive about the games they put out, and then they need to start addressing the IPs that they actually own. These first party IPs that they've had in the past, like the SOCOM series, Splinter Cell series, Mag, just to name a few. Gran Turismo.
Mag.
Yeah, it was big when the PlayStation 3 first came out. It was very huge.
I remember it could barely run it.
It could barely run it, but it was still a pretty cool game. It helped sell consoles.
It was a cool idea, yeah.
Gran Turismo and so forth.
SOCOM is a good. I've been wondering when they would bring back like SOCOM or Siphon Filter, like some of these. Like I was looking around, like why don't they just reboot these franchises? They have like good military based. Yeah, they have
like think about years day, like Jumping Jack Flash, Pandemonium. You can go through Tenchi.
Were they Papa the Rapper?
Papa the Rapper. Yeah. They have Tenchi.
Papa.
They have all these great IPs that they have sitting on the shelf. They really need to start if Sony is going to Microsoft is going to start buying all these other developers. Sony needs to go back into the archives, find these really good IPs that were really big during the PS1 era, PS2 era, PS3 era, and really start pushing these back out, because what sold consoles back in the day, PS1 over 64 over Xbox. Well, Xbox didn't come out to PS2.
PS4 era.
Xbox, PS2.
No, I'm saying PS4 games.
I mean, PS4, that we just came from that. So it's not, they don't need to 100% reboot those. But there are so many games that made the PS1 stand out as.
They have a strong first party library. You're absolutely right. Like exactly what makes Nintendo still survive and relevant is their first party library. Sony can still do that same thing as long as they keep things fresh and alive. Do you think they will attempt to acquire Konami or Capcom or Square Enix? Do you think they'll try to move in that direction?
Square Enix would make the most sense.
Square Enix would make the most sense. Konami would make a lot of sense too.
Konami,
I don't know where they are.
Konami would be a big move, especially with like the Metal
Gear
Solid series. If I was Sony, I'd be like, let's get Hideo Kojima back. Let's get the gang back together. Let's put out awesome games like Silent Hill. Like, let's get Guillermo del Toro. Get your ass back in here.
That would do it. That would do it. It's not at the scale of this purchase, but that little purchase has such big implications, and so many people would start talking about it. It would make them competitive.
Absolutely.
So, I actually did see how much the other companies cost. They're pretty close to the $68 billion of what Microsoft did. So Sony would have to like do close to the same amount to purchase those companies.
Sony could purchase.
Most deals don't happen. This reason why people are talking about this so big is that because Microsoft has a big cash wallet,
basically.
Cash wallet. Yeah. Apple has a huge cash wallet. Apple was said to have like somewhere close to $1 trillion worth of cash stash at one point. Amazon, all these big companies have cash reserves on deck. the reason why this Microsoft one is so big is that one is not just the big IPs, but they're putting this 69 billion is cash. This is not usually when you have mergers, you have 10-year mergers.
Is cash money.
Yeah. They usually have 10-year mergers, 5-year mergers, 15, 20-year mergers, where, you know, these companies, they're merged, but they're paying out, you know, money over time. This is saying, you know what? It's like me going over to Green Tuner's house, knocking on his door and be like, hey, bitch, I want your house right now. Here's the cash for it. And I'm like, but hey, leave everything that you have in this house exactly as it is. You just need to leave your house.
So you don't want me to flush the toilet?
No, I want
as is. Read his lips.
I bought that turd. I want that turd. I pay cash money for that shit. If I want to flush it, I want to flush that shit. That's my shit now.
There you go.
Just because I put it on the dinner plate and I'm about to eat it, don't ask questions. That's my turd. I want to do what I want with it. But that's the thing. Like, that's why this is so big. So if Sony was trying to do this deal with other studios, they could do a $50 million deal over 10 years. They could do another, you know, a couple deals like this and be fine. But I mean, they just don't have the leverage.
They would take a huge risk.
Yes.
If they're going to do that now, that could cause them to bankrupt. I mean, and now is the time to do it because the economy is at a point where they could probably acquire some of these companies. But again, it's a huge risk. But you know what? Big risk, big reward, I guess. So
here's a list of the top, I guess, 10 of the most expensive companies to buy from highest to lowest.
Take two. Tell me.
EA is at 38 billion. Take-Two is at 18 billion.
That's it?
Yeah.
Are you talking about
18 billion?
18 billion?
Yeah.
How much was the Bethesda purchase? 7 billion?
But the
6 billion? How much was that?
I forgot.
Remember that? I thought it was double digits.
Oh, you thought it was double?
I thought it was double digits.
This is from highest to lowest. EA 38 billion, Take-Two 18 billion, Nexon, whoever that is, 15 billion.
Nexon.
Bandai Namco 15 billion, Embrace 10.8 billion, Netmarble 7 billion, Ubisoft 7 billion, Konami 6 billion, Square Enix 5.6 billion, Capcom 4.9 billion, and Sega 3.3
million.
billion.
Microsoft acquired ZeniMax for 7.5 billion.
7.5.
So I mean, that's kind of damn. Konami's still valued at 6 billion. That's surprising. The fact that they just make arcade and gacha machines. Pretty much.
Yeah, them gacha machines back in Japan.
I guess.
They're probably very popular.
Yeah, they literally stopped making, like, they were like, that's why we took so long, they said, to make a Devil May Cry game, because they were like, we got these gacha games and
we're invested in gacha right now.
Yeah, and these people, you know, in Japan, they love their games.
They love their gacha. Yeah,
they do. Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sony needs to make some big moves, and I'm surprised that we haven't. And what really kind of shocks me is Sony hasn't really been pushed ever since the Bethesda merger. I would think Sony would be out here talking about, like, yo, like, because the thing is, if I'm Sony, I'm thinking like, man, like, yo, Microsoft's doing something out here and we can't trust these motherfuckers because they buying studios left and right. It's like almost like you come home to your girl and you see a shadow leaving your bedroom. You're like, well, I know I saw something, but you know what? I'm just gonna believe it. And then you come
for the fifth time.
Yeah. But then you come home one day and there's 10 guys in your house and you realize, like, damn, I should have saw the signs. Sony should be seeing the signs right now. They should have saw the signs already. So I'm surprised Sony has not come up with some announcement. Sony hasn't been more productive.
This is a wake-up call, if nothing else, for them to just get competitive. I mean, I know it's like they can't be competitive, but we just said something where if they purchase Konami, them acquiring Metal Gear Solid, Sony acquiring Metal Gear Solid makes me more excited than Microsoft purchasing 23
studios.
23 studios that I have no interest in
today.
Because I have no interest. I have no interest in Call of Duty. I haven't played a Call of Duty game in 10 years. I'm not a Blizzard. I've never, but I haven't touched a Blizzard game in years. And that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, the biggest tear that is dripping from my eye here is that Crash Bandicoot is going to be a Microsoft property now.
And
that's
Spyro.
the biggest loss.
And Spyro.
Spyro I don't really care for, but
Crash. The last Crash Bandicoot was on Xbox. So I was telling people today, it's already been on Xbox. So
I know, but it just stings more. That's the sting.
Is remembering the commercials. Commercials where Crash
so
was
good.
the unofficial mascot of Sony.
Kids who are too young to remember, go on YouTube and watch the Crash Bandicoot commercials.
For the fighting game community, there's a fighting game that's being created by Blrd, I believe.
Ed, you said this
could
right.
be Killer Instinct.
Could
be
Everyone has
everything in production could be Killer Instinct, guys.
No.
Oh, hold up. Speaking about Killer Instinct, no. You brought this up.
Ed, you said the wrong news. Correct you on the news. This is the second time you said this wrong in the same day. It's not Blrd that's making the fighting game. It is Riot. Riot Games.
Okay.
Riot Games making,
and they're now owned by Microsoft.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No,
Riot is not owned by Microsoft.
All right, never mind.
They're owned by Tencent. But the thing is, even Bandito Max.
Screw him. Don't worry. Blrd has been working on a KI game for the last 10 years.
Don't do
that. They were waiting for the acquisition.
But now, speaking about KI, when the new KI does come out, who knows what
if it comes out.
No, I mean, at this point, it's going to come out. That's what happened. We don't know. It could be this year. It could be next year. I mean,
could be Afterworld.
But think about the characters that could pop up in there now. I mean, it could be someone from Overwatch. It could be someone from, I don't know, Call of Duty. It could be, at this point, anyone. It could be its own Super Smash Bros. In a way. Now do you think about it? I mean, because
Disney's done it.
Even though Blizzard has something like this already, what is it called? Heroes of the Storm or something?
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm.
Okay, they have one, but it could be in KI now. I mean,
I know. KI is the jewel. Everyone's aiming for KI. Blizzard was just like, guys, oh my God, this means that X character could be in KI. Everyone was like losing their minds over at Blizzard, like, oh my God. Well,
if you didn't know,
we can have the knee and the arrow guy appear as an unlockable character.
Well, if you didn't
Skyrim
know,
guy's gonna be in KI, guys.
If you didn't know, there's a Halo character in KI, there's a Gears of War character in KI, and there's a Battletoads character in KI currently.
Yeah.
So who knows? The next KI could have anyone.
Nintendo done this already without having to own the characters.
Okay, but this time they don't have to go through loops to have those characters come out.
But no one. But okay. But let's be honest.
Because they own the characters. Hey, you guys want to put someone in there? Yeah.
Everything narrows down to how many cool characters are going to be added to the next game.
You guys know that Monday morning after this merger, the first meeting they had is, guys, I need the names of the characters we're going to put in the next KI. This was like a Phil Spencer priority with the red flag in his email. He's like, you put it out everywhere. Monday morning, 9 a.m. Everyone better come in with their KI nominees.
For the fans.
High importance. And let's be honest. Like this acquisition, no one cares about KI. No one's sitting here saying
there are people who do.
There are people.
No, there are people.
There are
people,
yes.
but not a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
there's a good number.
One's a number.
Yeah.
One's a number. God damn it.
I mean, you see an Overwatch character in a fighting game, people are going to care about it, even though it's never played fighting games before. Yeah,
true.
This is going back to the stupid Spawn.
Yeah,
this is going back to where the crux of the Blrd podcast. The crux of the Blrd podcast is how we can bring every conversation back to KI.
Remember the conversation that we had with Ed talking about, what was it? Soul Calibur, right? And I know he was talking about like, oh my God, Link is in Soul Calibur. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, you constantly do this thing, Ed, where
I don't remember this.
Yeah, you used to. Remember back in the day, you used to stand hard for Soul Calibur. You sucked at it, but because Link was in the game, you were like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest thing ever. It's the same. Like, no one cares about KI to the extent. Like Bandit Max says, there are dozens of us out here.
There are dozens of them.
There are dozens.
That's true.
Well,
they're spread out. Every continent is covered with one person at least.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Soul Calibur. The only Soul Calibur game I own was for the Dreamcast. And I loved it when Link was in there, but can't play with the controller. Yeah, I mean, Link in a fighting game, who wouldn't love that?
Yeah,
like Darth Vader's in the PlayStation version of the game. Like, come on.
I do give you credit. There will probably be a Killer Instinct announcement next year with how Microsoft is trying to push IPs. Or this year, I'm sorry. I'm thinking
When are we getting a new Battletoads? They keep hinting at it.
They already got it.
They already got
a new Battletoads last year.
Yeah,
it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, people say it sucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, congratulations! You guys
see you in 10 years.
Your wish has been answered, and
there you go.
It was like a 4.
And it sucked.
Yeah. So
yeah, don't worry, Ed. It was successful. Everybody loved it.
Was it a new one or was it like a reskin?
That was a brand new one.
Reboot.
Yeah,
kind
of. Yeah.
Brand new one.
Yeah, trust me, you're not missing anything. Like just like you didn't realize that.
I don't keep up with games.
All right, guys, my Blrd headache is starting. That means we need to change subjects, please.
I didn't answer your question though.
No, please.
No more. KI don't have every.
Put a pin in it.
You talked about KI. That was you answered the question.
No. Your
I told you I can't wait till I select Knee and the Arrow guy. Throw down on some sweet KI matches.
Combo breakers. All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And to answer your question, I think what is rumored is going to happen. I think that's really all they got right now. And if it's been like their previous not subscription service, but like cloud service, it's not going to go well.
I don't know what you're referencing, but okay.
There's a way to play PlayStation games on your PSVS.
That's good.
Right, sure. All right.
Yeah.
So we have some news about Joss Whedon.
Yeah. So it came out recently. Joss Whedon actually responded back to all the allegations from his time as the Justice League director, which is very surprising. I thought he was just going to go the Harvey Weinstein approach and just not say anything.
Just disappear,
just not say anything. But he came out and man, he thought he was doing something. Whoever his PR person is, he needs to fire them ASAP because they played the shit out of him. This man said, one of the statements he said, well, one of the things that was alleged that he had did on the set of Justice League was he told Gal Gadot that if she doesn't do the stunt as he prescribed her to do it or told her to do it, that he was going to make her career, he's make her pay for her career, that her career is going to suffer. So Gal Gadot, said this. Joss Whedon responds and says, pretty much, you can't speak English, so you didn't understand what I was saying. And you pretty much are a foreigner. You don't understand the American language, and go back to your country.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's just like, how the hell do you say something?
He said he believes Gal Gadot misunderstood what he said, and he says, "quote English is not her first language.
I tend to be annoyingly flowery in my speech."
Flowery, yeah.
And he said specifically, the point where he quoted that I was told, then I was told that I had said something about her dead body. Oh no, let me see. She says jokingly, we didn't say he jokingly told her that if she wanted to get rid of a scene, but he said if she wanted to get rid of it, she would have to tie him to a railroad track and do it over his dead body. Which then he said, then I was told I had said something about her dead body and tying her to the railroad track. We then added, Gal Gadot told New York in an email that this was not true and that she understood perfectly what was going on. So this man said, "Yo, hey, you don't speak English real good. You need to take some remedial English classes, and because you don't understand."
ESL classes.
Yeah, get on the ESL classes. People, no one really cares about what you say. They just want to look at you, just shut up and do what I want. And I say that to that.
All good points.
This is what happened. We don't let Green Tuner talk for an hour and a half.
No, I'm saying no. I agree with your point so far.
I'm sorry. Where were they filming Justice League? Where were they filming that? In Russia?
Yeah, apparently,
That's what we thought.
But the craziest part was with Ray Fisher, because Ray Fisher said that Joss Whedon was pretty much negative about him as an actor. He lightened his skin on purpose because he didn't want dark skinned characters and a whole bunch of other stuff. People were pretty much saying Joss Whedon was a racist. So Joss Whedon said that one of the quotes that he said was that Fisher said that Whedon told. Okay, so this is. I'm just gonna read the quote. It feels like I'm taking notes right now. Whedon told Fisher when the actor shared his concerns over the rewrites, according to the Hollywood Reporter. And then Joss Whedon says, "And I don't like taking notes from anybody, not even from Robert Downey Jr." So here comes Joss Whedon. You know, big dick energy coming off the highs of what Avengers.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. And your number one star.
Least favorite, by the way.
Your number one star. You're telling him like, I'm not gonna. If I have to listen to you and feel like I have to take notes, pretty much the fuck off. Man, this guy got.
Well, at that time, he was big. He was a big deal.
Who?
Joss Whedon. At the time of Age of Ultron, he was a big deal.
Bigger than Robert Downey Jr.
I think at that time he was considered more valuable to Marvel because he had executed I think he was more of like a Kevin Feige type. Oh, he's the one who could do it, kind of like mastermind type thing. Where that's why DC kind of got him too. So I'm sure he did have a reputation, but I think at that time he probably was at that level where he could do that. But he, not anymore, obviously.
Sure. I mean, we can agree to disagree. I still don't think that he was bigger than. Yeah, he technically could have been a Kevin.
I mean, as a director, directors are like, yeah.
I mean, he was big as a director, but I mean, Robert.
And in terms of Marvel, he was probably the biggest Marvel director.
Who?
Joss Whedon at that time.
Oh, at the time, yes. At the time, yes.
Yeah. Not, I mean, even above Jon Favreau. Yeah.
But not now. But
not now, obviously. Yeah. But then is what I'm talking about.
Sure, yeah. Then,
Age of Ultron. At times of Age of Ultron.
Yeah, when he initially got announced to be Age of Ultron director. Yeah,
it was coming off the sequel of the highest grossing superhero movie of all time, or whatever the Avengers did, or whatever.
No, that's true. But granted, I mean, him saying that dumb stuff is like it might be an ego trip. The most effed up thing he said, and to this day, like, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hurts for Ray Fisher. So they were talking about Joss Whedon and the conversations that he's had with Ray Fisher. So Whedon said that he didn't think that nothing was happening the entire time. He thought that he cut down the whole Cyborg storyline because he thought it was boring. So, and he said, hey, I had a lot of conversations with Ray Fisher. I told him how I felt about his role and blah, blah, this, that, and the other, but it was nothing personal whatsoever, at least at that point. So this is how Joss Whedon recounts the story. He said he had spent hours discussing these changes with Fisher and conversations that were friendly and respectful. Whedon believes that none of the claims Fisher has made are either true or merited discussing. Now this is the quote that, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if I was Ray Fisher, I'd be punching the wall right now. It says, we're talking about a malevolent force. He's talking about Steppenwolf. He said on the topic of Fisher's motives, we're talking about a bad actor in both senses. I'm like, damn, holy shit. So He pretty much said we're talking about a bad actor as far as the Cyborg storyline with Steppenwolf, and then out of the same breath shades the man and says that Ray Fisher is not a great actor. Now, if I was Ray Fisher, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be very pissed. I'll be punching the wall right now. I'll be crying. I mean, because right now, I mean, to be honest, have we seen Ray Fisher in another movie, big budget movie since then? I don't think so.
No.
So there must be some merit to it. And, outside, a lot of people, especially when you do the whole crying tactic, people want to come to you and be like, oh, we're going to be Captain Save-A-Ho. We're going to save the actor who's crying about the situation. Nobody in Hollywood is coming after this man. So I hate, like, I don't want to say I agree with Joss Whedon, but
you agree.
Joss Whedon is like an asshole. Like, I mean, there's many avenues of proof to show that he's an asshole from different productions he's been a part of. Mm-hmm. But the thing that bothered me about this, and it might be true, I don't know, but you got to be like, to accuse someone of being racist with the skin tone, changing the color of the skin tone. Yeah, I mean, it's a stretch. And it's just like, I hate it when people make these, like, it's a very specific, horrible accusation that you can put on. It's like the worst thing. One of the worst things. Yeah, one of the worst things you can put on. You can be an asshole. You could be a dick director. You could be like misogynist. I mean, all these things are like recoverable, but like being racist is hard to like ever recover from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't go full Mel Gibson. Like, whatever you do, just don't go full Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that's
only
true.
in the comfort of your own home.
And he did that in the comfort zone and still got snitched on.
Yep. But yeah, no, that it's rough. It's rough that the accusation, but it could be true. We don't. I don't know, but definitely he's a dick. Definitely he's pompous. Definitely whoever like you said, whoever's PR person was, they should be shot. Or Absolutely. Joss Whedon himself should be put out to pasture for many years.
He could have easily just ignored his PR person's advice.
I have a feeling this is not. I have a feeling this is not his. I have a feeling his PR people were like, "No, don't say
do
anything." Yeah, Joss Whedon's kind of a personality, so he probably was like, some journalist was like, "All right, man, we're gonna let you tell your story," and he just because if you look at his quotes, they're very like candid, and he's speaking, like from a perspective of not hostility. He's like speaking from a perspective of like. Let me tell you what really happened. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess whatever atmosphere was created in this interview, it worked. Whoever did the interview, props to them. But it was not a good move, and it just makes him look even more worse.
Yeah, I'm surprised that honestly, I don't see like there's a huge amount of backlash from this interview. Really,
no,
Joss Whedon, he's been known. He's a known. From everywhere from Buffy to Firefly, he has been known as an asshole, and even worse so back then than now. I think now it only is coming more into light because this is over Justice League, which was at the time the biggest Warner Brothers DC comic film to date. So. Especially with all the controversy behind it. I mean, I think that's why this is getting a lot more traction.
And the fact that he says that the Ray Fisher cyborg stuff was boring, and now we know for a fact that it was actually pretty good if done properly.
Yeah.
Just, kind of throws his account of and his judgment of the whole situation into even more questionability.
Yeah. I just think that the whole Ray Fisher thing, I like you said, the whole making the movie lighter, I don't think it was a race thing, I'll be honest. If we've seen his previous movies, we've seen his previous work, it's always been relatively lighter, or especially when it comes to superhero movies. Well, I mean, the only thing we really base it off is
comparing off how how Zack Snyder originally shot the film and how Joss Snyder went in and color corrected it. I mean, they're two different aesthetic types of films, so who knows what he had to do. But yeah, putting that racism accusations is rough stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but, I mean, Josh, just stop talking sometimes, man. Just do your own thing.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up. Just do your own thing next time, and just don't be so candid. I mean, there's sometimes you need to tell your truth, and there's other times you just need to shut that up. So that was just a little thing. Just going back to the old conversation that we had about Joss Whedon and so forth, his Snyder cut. So it was cool that he responded, but I mean, it was cool for us, not cool for him. But okay, so I guess for our last topic we're going to talk about is something that Darkseid, you had recommended for us to watch. And I think all of us watched all 4 episodes except for you.
All of us have watched all 4 episodes.
No.
What was the cliffhanger of the 4th episode?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
All right.
But that is the Book of Boba
Fett. It had to do with lasers and space.
There might be some stars.
And the Force.
Am I wrong? Yeah, there you go.
There might be some stars and some wars.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
So yeah, it's the Book of Boba Fett. So episode 4 just came out not too long ago, and what do you guys think about it? I'm definitely a Star Wars buff, so I would definitely let you guys go first. Cause
I'm not a Star Wars buff either, but I do think that this was more in line with Star Wars than The Mandalorian. But I think The Mandalorian is way better than this is.
What do you mean by that? More in line?
Oh, like when I was watching it, it felt like I was watching Star Wars movies. Just the way that it's shot, the way that they do the transitions, the characters, the dialogue. It's very simplistic, no super, high ideas or anything.
Yep.
as opposed to the Mandalorian, where it was a little more fleshed out. It didn't follow the same. It had more of a cinematic look, as opposed to the book of Boba.
I thought the book of Boba Fett was so far pretty boring, and I saw episode 3 last night, and I don't know why, but the cyberpunk kids, it didn't feel like Star Wars. And for a quick second, it felt like they were Power Rangers, cyberpunk Power Rangers, with the multicolored motorcycles. Yeah.
That's the only reason why you think it was.
Well, that moment. I mean, it just didn't feel like Star Wars.
You're absolutely right. I'm right there with you. The biggest standout thing that doesn't fit is those kids.
Cyberpunk kids.
The cyberpunk kids just completely. Yeah, we've seen the memes, man. They're all over the internet. So yeah,
honestly, I haven't seen anything.
I didn't even see
the Power Ranger memes are all over the internet.
I have not seen the memes.
Yeah, there's ones with Zordon saying "Alpha assemble 5 teenagers with attitude," and you see them all on their motorcycles. They don't fit in the universe. They look like they walked out of like the dressing room. They just got their clothes. They're all crisp and clean. Everything's brand new, and like Tatooine's like old as hell. Nothing's new on Tatooine.
And the technology that they have doesn't look as sophisticated as like all the gear that they have strapped onto themselves.
Yeah, and like
they should use just like makeup and special effects. It will look more in place than all the CG stuff
that they were doing. Yeah. I mean, isn't Lobot the only cyborg being so far that we've seen? Lobot's amazing. We're fans. I have a long-standing fondness for Lobot. Lando Calrissian's basically his walking personal digital assistant,
right?
His Palm Pilot.
Palm Pilot.
Palm Pilot.
Yeah, Lobot's great, but these kids, and the other thing that really made them seem like Power Rangers was they're like the perfect diverse mixture of different ethnicities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it really
was the UN of street gang.
And then of course they're like this is Tatooine, the hub of scum and villainy in the galaxy. Like it is a place where you walk into a bar and you get your hand chopped off by a fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, or somebody shoots you, like Han Solo will shoot you out of the blue, and everyone stops drinking
just
for 1 second,
enjoying your drink.
Yeah, and then everyone just stops drinking and then goes right back to their drink because that's the way it rolls over there. Yeah. But you have these like kids with like they look like they popped out of a PBS, like a PBS like after school special. Like, oh, those are the bad kids. Like they're the ones hanging out behind the school. Like they're hey,
sharks and the jets.
The sharks and the jets, but they're TV clean. You know what I mean? They're like they're not like real thuggish. They're just like oh, that actor. You know, they just dressed her in the goth clothes.
Rumble in the Bronx.
No,
yeah.
It's the same thing. If you watch the gang. The mean gang in Rumble in the Bronx. It's the most sanitized
version of them.
Gang in the world.
Yeah, they're very clean. And that's you're absolutely right. So far in Book of Boba Fett, that has been the most offensive thing I've encountered. Now, as far as the rest of the series goes, I'm right there with Green Tuner. It's not really blowing me away, and it's not really making me really excited. There's some stuff that could be cool. I like the huts. They just showed them and I was like, oh, cool. This could be going for somewhere cool. But really outside of that, him coming out of the Sarlacc pit was cool. But,
that part was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah. So that was a moment that Star Wars fans have been waiting 20 years to see that moment. So
more than that.
Yeah, more than that. But outside of that, really is not as exciting as I thought it would be.
Yeah,
but
I thought
I'm still
more
excited
too. But and the acting of the lead character is not really that good either. Of Boba himself. His
I disagree
acting
with that.
Is really stiff.
I disagree with that. I think he plays the character well. I mean, you gotta think of like Boba Fett as we've known him through like the entire series. He's been always that quiet, really. I mean, Boba Fett wasn't a talker. I mean, he didn't talk. So it was just like you get this guy who now is speaking for the pretty much for, like almost for, like for the first time, really.
That's true.
So it's just like you get him speaking. He's not gonna be that eloquent, like, hey, you know, like a Luke Skywalker or something like that, or a Rey Skywalker, or a Lando. You know, you're not gonna get that witty, quick dialogue as you would with hardened hitman. You know,
I think this is the same. Like, you take any cool character and you who has been cool in the periphery, and you give them the whole spotlight, and you realize, wow, there's not much to this.
Yeah.
Case in point with our boy Venom here, you know, the exact same thing happened there, where he's a cool character when he's fighting Spider-Man and when he's like menacing Spider-Man. But if you give him his entire movie, this dude's just fighting symbiotes all the time, and then they got to make up some stuff to make it more interesting in the movie. Right. It's not as fun.
You just gotta do it right. Like I can say with Spawn. Spawn is very somewhat mysterious, cool.
But Spawn's a lead character.
Yeah. Well, Boba Fett's lead character.
It's like saying Violator. We made a Violator
Boba
movie.
Fett started as a lead character.
Yeah, no, he was like a side character.
No, I'm saying now he's the lead character.
Well, they made him into the lead character.
This is what the problem is. Yeah. So you're finally shedding light, and where you're gonna have to. Yes, he's gonna have to take off his helmet every now and then. And you're gonna be
every now and then. It was like almost every 5 minutes.
It's almost the whole thing.
Well, I mean, you've gone from a character who was mute.
Well, not mute. He
did speak.
He speak. But I'm saying like
very little.
Yeah, very little. Yeah. That was the whole mysteriousness about him.
Yes,
he didn't speak. He kept his helmet on. You didn't know what he looked like whatsoever. But he had the armor where you knew who he was. There was only one Boba Fett, and that was very obvious. Now you're going from now you got to see the man behind the mask, and that is the problem when you have built a character over decades that is this quiet, solemn, straight killing machine to now having full-fledged dialogue, and now he's becoming, you know, a warlord, a crime lord all of a sudden. And it's just it's
the nicest crime lord in the world.
Yeah, he is very, very nice. He's very nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking like this
how many deaths happen in
tough but fair
so far?
Deaths?
0, right? Maybe
there's
one.
There's been a lot of deaths.
I mean, I think they killed a couple of those assassins in the beginning.
The assassins. What's those desert people? I forgot.
Tusken Raiders. Yeah, a lot of Tusken Raiders died.
But Tusken, they always treat him that way, no matter what.
That's
you watch.
true. They're fodder. They're cannon fodder.
It's like, we need a lot of people to die.
Well, because it's the same. It's like the reverse of Boba Fett, like, right? It's like you have people who have no face. They just have, you know, there's a short one.
Oh, I was so scared that at one point they were going to show like a Tusken Raider. So I was like, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
In the hut. Yeah. I thought that's what they were going to do.
Oh, yeah. I was so afraid of that too.
I was like, what are they about to do?
It was like, there's certain parts of Star Wars that exist and is good because of the mystery. And you're absolutely right. Boba Fett is mysterious. He was tough. He was Darth Vader had to specifically go to him out of a room of bounty hunters, point to him and said, gave the orders, and then go back and then walk back and say, and no disintegrations to him. That's the kind of man, the reputation he had, where it's like, all right, I got to bring him back in one piece. Yeah, exactly. So like, we're not getting that ruthless killing machine that I wanted. Another popular meme on the internet is Boba Fett, because he's a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I mean, he's not exactly.
Is it Jango Fett the same actor?
Yeah, he's the same actor.
Yeah, so that's why. Unless they do that,
he's aged
or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's supposed to age. He's supposed to age normally because he's just a perfect copy. Yeah, he's a perfect copy of his. Yeah. So I mean, makes sense, but could they have given him more physical roles? Yes, because it feels like he gets knocked down a lot. Yeah. A lot of like people are fighting for him. So I kind of get it.
That's what I'm saying with the limit in acting, because every time he's fighting, he has one single look, which is just baring his teeth. Like, that's all he does in all the fight scenes.
I mean, can we?
So, like, even as Jango Fett, he was a limited actor. He's not really a particularly good actor.
He's a good actor in other things. If you've seen him in like, he's been in a couple other things, and he's decent. But
He's in Aquaman.
yeah, he's in a lot of like
but
side
that was
roles.
very
but-
limited.
Very
He
limited.
wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the main. Yeah,
Very limited.
showcase.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
They
But
DH'd him.
how much does he have to work with here? He's in a fucking Boba Fett TV show.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
agree.
So,
Well, how much
but-
did the Mandalorian have to work with and wearing a helmet?
I think that's the thing. He wore the helmet and he was able to emote through the helmet.
Through
It
the
just tells
helmet,
you
exactly.
how much of a better actor
Yes.
Pedro Pascal is.
Pascal.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a guy who is probably Pedro Pascal is what, probably in his late 30s.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
we're talking about.
I mean, physically, he can. Yeah,
Huge
make
difference.
No,
Huge
but we're talking about in acting wise, just acting, because the Mandalorian
clearly
is
there's
not all fighting.
clearly there's a difference
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
quality
yeah.
of
I
acting.
feel like let the man act.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you saying?
why you talking shit, Green Shooter? Right?
That is true.
No, wait, I'm defensive or you defensive?
You're defensive.
I'm not defensive. No, I'm saying like you're trying to compare him to like Denzel Washington. He's like, man, he's not. He doesn't have the range.
I'm trying to compare him to what we've seen from the Mandalorian, which was the last thing that you think Boba Fett would have been.
Big talk from a man who can't emote. You've been frozen for the last minute and a half, facial expression wise.
Exactly. Like you're the
No,
worst
I'm
actor.
actually talking really low. That's how feeling really slow.
You're so slow. It looks like you're frozen in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm actually going on. So
No, cool.
So
cool.
I think honestly, I mean, I one thing I really enjoyed about the series is not like it's not as interesting as The Mandalorian, but it is interesting in its own right. This reminds me of original Star Wars, George Lucas, where you have like the animatronic. Like I like the fact that not every single alien and so forth is CGI. It's still the old school animatronics.
Really? Because I feel like Mandalorian had more animatronics than this. This I feel like I'm seeing
think
more
they
CG.
did.
You think so?
I think so.
I feel like I'm seeing
Mandalorian
more
had a lot more of
CG.
everything.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the huts that I was seeing. I know they're obviously
The
CG.
Huts, yeah, they're obviously CG. Yeah.
But like I feel like I'm seeing more CG in Boba Fett that I did in
Mandalorian.
Mando, and I think Mando had more of an attempt. I don't know how much Jon Favreau he's involved in this. He's writing the episodes,
Mhm.
but I don't know how much he's involved production day to day like he is with Mando. I know Robert Rodriguez directed the third episode, which was arguably the worst episode of.
I will have to say right now, yeah.
Yeah, right now.
Which one was
Now,
that?
it was the one
the
with the
Power
biker
Rangers
gang,
ones.
the Power Rangers one.
Yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, that was. by
It's
far
the worst episode, and the chase is bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's bad. But hopefully, the fourth episode I'm told is better.
Wait, what do you mean? How?
I thought you
thought
watched.
you
I
watched
mean, it is better. I mean, it is better.
Wait
It
a
is
minute.
clearly better. And man, that cliffhanger was amazing.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
didn't see
So
that
what was the
coming.
cliffhanger again?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell
Told you, it
us.
had to do with space and lasers and all that shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I just enjoy the practical. Like, yeah, Cascade said perfectly. The practical effects I thought were pretty on point for this series, so far.
Yeah, I did like that a lot. So.
Yeah, I think because with the Huts, you really can't. I mean, the way that they're portraying the Huts, you kind of have to do the CGI to make it look a little bit more believable.
Yeah, but how cool would it have been if they had the original like Jim
Yeah.
Henson puppet,
No, they did.
and then
No,
him
they
like
can
eating
definitely-
like something, and it was that goopy stuff coming
They
off.
can definitely recreate like a robot or whatever, a
Yeah.
mannequin.
Yeah,
But
the
they
thi-
just don't want to spend the money.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm saying,
the money,
But
like,
very
yeah.
expensive to
Yeah,
make
this-
2 huts.
Yeah, this is not I say cinematography wise, this is not as impressive as The Mandalorian. So you can kind of tell like the budget is just not there. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just The Mandalorian. They put all their eggs into that one basket, and they said, "Hey, for Boba, we're just going to just tell the story."
I definitely get this show exists because they have the sets from the Mandalorian still kind of vibe.
Mm,
Okay.
And they have like, oh, we have these actors, we have the sets, we have the
that makes
cameras.
sense, yeah.
Let's just make a Boba Fett show on Tatooine while we have Tatooine here. It just feels like a leftover show. You know what I mean?
Does it feel organic? Does it feel organic? Like the story so far? I like the desert scenes. Like all the desert scenes have been really nice. Outside of that, with him now being, I forgot what the actual term is. I'm not a Star Wars nerd.
Daimyo.
Yeah, the daimyo stuff is just really not that interesting. I care more about.
I like it. Could be awesome. It could potentially be amazing.
It could be
potentially.
It could be.
But he's Mr. Nice Guy talking about. Like you gotta. The most dangerous thing, the hardest thing you gotta work towards is a family. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, start blasting these. Like that first scene, the first scene where the assassins jumped him, right? And they're just knocking him over. Like he's not the most dangerous bounty hunter in the galaxy. They're just knocking him over, like, and then it's just such a dumb scene. It's a really dumb scene.
Oh yeah, what do you guys think of Darth Chewbacca?
Oh, I call him Shih Tzu. Shih Tzu Chewbacca.
Christian.
Yeah, it's what's his name? Black Kraston something.
Yeah,
Black
Kraston. KRR Stan.
Yeah, he's a character from the expanded universe, and a lot of people were very happy that he was there. I don't know enough about him, so I won't comment.
I don't know anything, but
I call him the
cool.
Shih Tzu Chewbacca.
Now, what did you think about?
Yeah.
What did we think about a man who is playing not a Star Wars character but himself, Danny Trejo?
Danny Trejo, don't do that, man.
Danny Trejo showed up as Danny Trejo with the Rancor.
He sure did.
Yes, it was straight up. Machete was there with the Rancor, and it was like he didn't even bother to try to be.
I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping that he was gonna open his chest up.
Yeah, like a bunch of knives
and so forth. Like, actually fight the Rancor.
The tattoo of the chick with the hand.
Yeah, something.
I wonder if we'll still see his character. I know that Robert Rodriguez directed that episode, so I don't know if that was just because he was directed it. And that's why Danny Trejo's in it, or hopefully Danny Trejo's in every episode with the Rancor, which I hope is the case.
Yeah, who knows?
It's not like he's got a lot going on, so I hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just like the fact that they had the Rancor there to actually give it a little bit of story instead of just being a mean killing machine kept in,
Yeah, a lot of people talking shit about the Rancor.
Well, because it made it soft, right?
They made it soft, but that's it's canon. That is canonized that Rancors are very gentle and kind, and you have to really. It's like a dog. You could turn a dog into a fighting animal, but in their nature they're very loving and sweet. That's the way Rancors are described apparently. So in the canon,
what's his name? Started crying over the.
Yeah, remember the Rancor handler? That's a very sweet scene.
I thought he does. I actually made up a name for him.
He has a name. He has a whole backstory in the novel. I forgot what's it called. Tales from Jabba's Palace, I think it's called.
Yeah.
When we were kids, it came out. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, more exciting than Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, which apparently nobody works at that palace. That palace was popping in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, there was nobody there.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
Very limited crew.
And I get that robot's doing a lot of Alfred level maintenance on that mansion. I mean,
if you had watched the last episode,
I did.
Yeah, you would have known that now they're gonna start hiring muscle, so maybe they'll stop filling up the.
And
outside of the muscle,
there's a certain type of muscle that is highly likely to be there because you hear someone's music at the end.
Sure.
Yeah. I
didn't pick up on it. Who is it? Just saying.
You want me to say it? Dark Side?
Mando's music?
Mando.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Oh,
I assumed that would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, I hope it happens soon.
He's gonna start.
What if Gina Carano showed up?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Heck yeah. Best episode
with
already.
Some more hot takes.
more hot takes on that. Jeez. I forgot we had a whole episode dealing with her. But yeah, I mean, one thing I really do enjoy more than the actual episode is the storyboard art at the end.
Yeah, I do like that tradition they've carried through.
Yeah, that's really cool because it shows more. I hate to say this, details of what was supposed to be in the scene because
they look better than what we get.
Yeah, because
yes, I know exactly.
It's like you get promised, like it's almost like you get like they promised in the storyboard art like this rich world, and then they say it's like the graphics are turned up on high settings in the game or in the demo. But when you actually get the game, you're like, whoa, shit, my computer can't handle that. And then you put that on low, and then the grass just turns into a green.
What the hell?
I think that's trying to say they're trying to tempt us.
Like
Who
just
is?
dangling fruit in front of
Dangling,
us.
yeah.
Like, oh, come on up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks beautiful. It looks very beautiful.
How the hell did you?
I
know?
don't-
That's what I don't-
Yeah, well, how'd you guess that?
How'd you guess?
I speak Ed. I speak
Oh,
Ed.
that's
Okay,
So-
all right.
Hey guys, you gotta put your smooth brain caps on.
I thought it was playing with
Yeah.
like a cat or something with a key.
Yeah, I thought he was
No,
like,
they're
yeah.
playing with us.
Okay.
Basically,
All right.
Yeah.
we're the cats or the Shih Tzu.
Well,
You're
so
a
what,
pussy,
so what would you
right?
guys? So far from what you've seen, three episodes for some,
Mhm. Four
four
episodes
episodes
for most of us.
for most of us,
For
we
all of
actually-
us. Yeah.
because we actually care about this podcast. What would you guys rank it so far? Like, what would you rank from
Out of the 10 blurries?
out of 10 blurries?
We're grouping them together.
No, yeah, we're gonna group
Or
them
should we
together.
just wait until the thing is done to give it?
Yeah,
a
we should
little
probably
rating?
wait. I mean, we could give
No, we
our
could-
at this point.
No,
How do we
so
feel?
far.
Yeah, how
No,
we feel?
I-
So far, I mean, okay.
Disappointing.
Honestly, at this point, I'm like
Disappointing.
4.5.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
gonna say around the same. About
Yeah,
4.
4.5.
That's what I'm feeling right now.
Very
Obviously, it's not
early,
the
very
final
early.
one.
Yeah, I think they definitely can build up to it. How many episodes did they say there was gonna be in book?
6.
6?
Right?
That's pretty
6,
bad.
maybe 8. I don't know. I'll look it up.
Well,
2 or 4 more episodes.
Yeah, I would give it a solid 5. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just it's all
Very
right.
disappointing.
It's very disappointing. Like especially coming off the high of like Visions, Star Wars Vision.
Again, the high of the Mandalorian, which is the closest
the high the
comparison that we have to
if you're
that
talking
type. Yeah,
yeah, like Mandalorian definitely set the bar. And I think that's why this
way
feels
too
weird.
high. God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This feels
Yeah.
weird. Like, why would you come with a Mandalorian and then come with this shit right afterwards? Like, it just kind of like it feels like this is leftover scenes that they never actually put CGI to. They're like,
Yeah.
like we're supposed to do this really big fancy scene, but we don't feel like finishing the production.
7 episodes.
Wow.
7. Ooh, 3 more
All
episodes.
written by Jon Favreau.
I'm a little bit surprised. I don't know.
We
The
can't.
kid always spent 100.
I know, but the Mandalorian, it was, in my opinion, was written very well. It was very charming. It had some mystery to it. You wanted to see, you had anticipation for the next episode. Like when the first episode came out, like, oh wow, I really want to see what happens next. Then the next episode. Even when
What are the other Star Wars series that they're working on? I know that
live
Obi-Wan
action?
obviously is coming.
that
Obi-Wan's
I'm
on.
looking forward to. I hope that's good.
Well,
Ahsoka is going to get her own series, which
I
I'm
wanna
also
see
looking
that
forward to.
Who's
Ahsoka.
That's what's her face is the black chick's name. I forgot her name.
She was in Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson's, yeah.
The Jedi from Mandalorian with the 2 blades.
She was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, if you would say. Not Darth Vader.
Or his Padawan. I don't know why you said if you'd say,
because I said what I said. I have
okay.
spoken.
She
I have
was
spoken.
she was his
She
Padawan.
was, yes, I
Padawan.
Okay, all right. I don't know why you said it that way. You're good.
Oh, that's another thing. Like the way that the Mandalorian was set up for Ahsoka and for Boba Fett, like you were looking forward to their solo series. And I'm kind of scared now for Ahsoka because Boba Fett right now, I'm not really feeling it.
I think with
I'm not afraid.
I don't think. I mean, they said that this is possibly going to other seasons with Boba. I just feel like this is a throwaway series. It seems boring overall.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying this like I said, it feels like this is extra leftover.
Which is
I
crazy.
just wanted to make a few
Yeah.
extra bucks.
Yeah,
Like,
but this
all right, it's gonna be easy to make.
Yeah, we need to tide the people over. It's just weird that you're taking one of your most badass characters and then you're just saying, hey, all right, we're just gonna throw you some
shit.
like leftover scenes and B tier actors.
Yeah.
All right,
Know that
so you-
helmet and outfit everyone loves? Don't wear it for most of the series.
Yeah.
So we're
And be a
supposed
nice
to
guy,
get
so.
we're supposed to get Obi-Wan Kenobi for sure. We are supposed to also get Andor, which is Diego Luna, his character from Rogue One.
hmm
Oh, okay.
Oh,
He's
okay.
getting I think that's done filming. So I think that's totally ready to go. We're getting into Mando season 3. And then there's the shows that are like, there's one called The Acolyte. There's the one with what's her name that we just mentioned? Rosario Dawson's character. Ahsoka.
Bandito Max says there's an anime series, Star Wars series with the Bad Batch.
Oh yeah, the Bad Batch. Yeah.
So yeah,
I only mentioned the live action.
Yeah, I mean there's definitely Star Wars stuff for people out there. It's just like I said, Boba just feels. It was
the most anticipated.
It seems this is like a Star Wars made for TV series. Like this is like if TNT got a hold of the Star Wars franchise, this is what it would be made out.
Yeah, shades.
Remember the
shades
old
here.
Hercules show?
Yeah,
that's where it would fit
the
in.
Legendary Adventures.
Was it W?
No,
or who did it?
That was on CW.
No, it was acquired by Sci-Fi later.
Yeah,
it's syndication. It was on like
CW, right?
UPN, wherever you were.
No, USA.
No, it was USA. Yeah, it was like it was all over the place. It was syndicated.
Is USA still a thing?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't have cable. I have internet.
Yeah, I believe it is.
There's still a USA channel?
I believe so. It's just not the USA we remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Xena.
It's China now.
Xena, Xena and like great television content in the daytime.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of USA back in the day. I'll be honest with you.
I did too.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon.
Actually, I did too.
Mortal Kombat TV.
Yeah, they had the cartoons. They even had like the Street Fighter.
It was an odd
animated
mishmash
series,
of stuff,
which was horrific.
No, it was good.
Not even horrible.
You liked it?
I like the Street Fighter cartoon. Yeah. And the Mortal Kombat cartoon and Sailor Moon. What else was there? I think that was it.
Do you like My Little Pony?
No.
He does.
No.
Yeah.
He's a deep down inside.
Did you watch Care Bears?
Of course.
I mean, I watched it, but I didn't.
Yeah. I did too. Care Bears solid. Care Bears solid stuff.
Care Bears was awesome.
And with that,
no, let's talk about Care Bears.
Come down the road with us.
We're all into Care Bears. Whatever.
No. You speak for yourselves.
Fraggle Rock.
Hey,
that was pretty cool too.
Oh, Fraggle Rock's amazing. Yeah. So you and I are on a slightly different generation than
than these two youngsters.
Yeah, these two young stars, these two young bucks.
Same time slot.
Yeah, we're in the same age.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Same time slot.
I used to just watch. My parents didn't let me watch like a lot of TV when I was a kid, so I had to watch like either Saturday morning cartoons, and then when I was able to watch TV like during the day, like or at nighttime, it was stuff like Rugrats, stuff like that. Like I just watched typical 90s
Rugrats.
cartoons.
That's not Nickelodeon. That's premium cable.
That is premium cable.
Yeah, you rich bastard. Yeah.
I mean, maybe back in the day, sure, but
Nickelodeon. I didn't even see Cartoon Network until I went to my friend's house.
Before Nick,
same here.
And before,
for me, it was whatever UPN was playing. That's what I was watching.
Well, I was watching that too.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock, the shows ended, and you had reruns of Cheers or Seinfeld. Then it was the news.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, it was also Snick. Nickelodeon's night thing, and also
that's on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, and also they had stuff at night on TGIF.
Bandito Mac, he's saying like you guys are acting like you guys are living in such poverty. Like you were sitting there like eating nothing but like bread and ice sandwiches, like like eating uncooked rice.
There was a time, Bandito Mac, where you had cable options where the cheapest option was like 20 channels. Yeah, it was the ABC, NBC, Fox, and the TV Guide channel, which is very entertaining, by the way, because you could see all the stuff you're missing out on. I went years with just the top 20 channels because that's all my parents got. So I could see what was on Nickelodeon at 5 o'clock, but I didn't know what was for many years.
Man, that Rugrats was it seems like such a great show.
Rats? This is Rugrats?
Reptar? You need Reptar? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, we had cable enough where we could see like Nickelodeon and so forth. We had like MTV, all the stuff, but I couldn't watch MTV. I couldn't watch like BET. I could only watch like stuff like Nickelodeon. So I just watched this like the Rugrats, all the other crap. But hey, I mean, I lived a very rich, fulfilling life.
Rich ass mofo.
Yeah, I'm tired of you peasants. To see, you guys you peasants just always following the rich people like me. Always
watch Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network.
Hey, you're a peasant too.
I had all the channels.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Cartoon Network,
Lies.
Nickelodeon,
Lies.
Dexter's Laboratory or Laboratory.
Laboratory.
Yeah, I had all those stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sorry I didn't let you watch it, but
Okay, on that note,
So stupid.
he's so dumb. Anyways, Ed, take us out, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 32 of the Blrd podcast.
Are you
can
sure
find
about
us-
that?
Yes, I'm positive that it is episode 32 of the Blrd podcast.
What
You
was
can
it?
find us 32.
Okay.
Boom. You can find us on all major platforms.
Stupid.
It's not gonna age. It's not gonna age well.
It's
It's not gonna age well at all.
Yeah.
You're gonna try to watch these episodes in maybe a year, and you will cringe at yourself, and you'll be like, why didn't they tell me not to do that?
Yeah.
We told you not to do that. We told you many times not to do that.
Yeah. And,
I'm
yeah.
But anyways,
I can't wait to be able to show this to like your kids, and your kids are gonna be embarrassed of you.
Like I say,
To your
So-
nephews.
Your nephews, yeah,
they'll think I'm cool.
yeah.
California is not far away, buddy.
There you
It's
go.
only
Yeah.
a plane right away.
Mhm.
He's a Sonic fan.
Ed,
So-
are you too old to have a new brother? Do you think you're too old to have a new brother?
I'm not going to have a new brother.
I don't know about that. You keep talking, you might.
I already have a son, so
You should do like in King of the Hill, just name him Good Ed.
Oh yeah, good Ed.
That way, our Ed is the bad Ed.
And I mean, just be careful, man. Just be careful out here.
oh my goodness.
All right, take us out, man.
All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 32 of the Blrd podcast. You can find us on all major platforms, and you can also chat with us live at twitch.tv/the Blrd podcast. Also, follow us on Instagram by the same name. You can see all cool highlights and stuff.
Mhm.
Wait,
yeah.
have you?
And our TikTok, right?
Yeah, and
We don't have a TikTok.
our OnlyFans.
No.
OnlyFans.
Oh, that's that's in the
OnlyFans
works.
too, yeah.
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 Ed, have you been
Mhm.
updating our social media stuff?
I have posted live stories, but not like photo stuff.
Oh, that's cool, man. they're gonna get so much
Yeah,
content.
very,
Oh, you
if
know,
only we would get
a
the same treatment
A
as
listener,
this
a
club.
listener who I know was asking why there's no Blrd merch.
Oh, because
So-
you know why? You know why
Yeah.
though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because it's all going to the other organization that we're not a part
yeah.
yeah.
You can
Yeah.
be a part of it.
of. No.
Don't want to be a part of it.
Don't wanna be
I don't want to
Part
be
of
a
this
part of it.
organization.
Yeah,
I want to be part of the Blrd. Yeah,
we are the Blrd, the Blrd podcast. I want Blrd podcast merch.
Oh yeah.
I wear a hat. I wear a hat every episode.
Yeah,
That
do
could
too.
easily be a Blrd hat every episode.
I do too.
Yeah,
You
I
wear
want-
you wear a sweatshirt every episode. It's the same set of sweatshirt.
Well, not the same, but yeah, close enough.
Stand
Same
up right
color.
now. Stand up right now. Stand up right now.
yeah. I saw it too.
Stand up right
Stand
now.
Yeah.
Stand up.
This is hey, no.
This is like the sixth episode in a row.
Dark
This
side.
is like not
Dark side.
only.
Let's not do this.
There we go.
Let's not do this. 'Cause Ed just got called out on his stream about this recently. He just got called out. So we don't
Good.
want to do that. We don't want to do this to him. Ed,
I don't wear this hoodie on my live stream.
No, you wear it on this stream.
On
wear it
this
the
one,
stream.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're an asshole, Ed. Like you're
yeah.
wearing-
That makes you
you're
even bigger asshole.
Yeah, you purposely wear another orc shirt on your podcast, but yet we don't have merch. Does that not seem wrong to you?
I'm not promoting what I'm wearing.
I don't know about that.
You're
Anyway,
promoting it by wearing it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
Yes.
obviously
Am I,
because we
am I
picked up
promoting
on
this
it.
too?
Yeah,
Yes,
You know what
obviously
it
you are.
is?
yeah. I'm promoting The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That's the
Mhm.
You know
point
what
of
this
having
is?
that stuff. Yes,
Yes,
I know.
stupid
Yes.
Lincoln
Yeah.
Park.
It's
Jesus
not
Christ.
stupid,
Park.
but
It's
It
not
is stupid.
it's not stupid.
Hasn't
It
Lincoln
is.
Park has not been the same since 2008. Let's be honest. So I mean that's the truth. But Ed's a diehard
Still good.
fan. Anywho, all right,
Yeah.
guys. All
right.
we're out of here. Later, guys.
Blur you later.
Blur
Blow you later.
Later.